In the land of Tezorath, everything exists in a perfect balance. From the trees which provide the air we breathe, the lands which provide rich crops for our communities, the oceans which sustain our lives and bring joy in their biodiversity, to the mountains which provide the precious minerals we so heavily rely on. But what happens when the scales are tipped and balance is no more? When the storms rage above us and shape our landscape? When those important resources are destroyed, ripped and stolen? When greed and coin are valued above the lives of our peoples? These lands are burning. These lands are dying. These lands call for you.
Good evening, and welcome to Science and Sorcery, the show where science communicators play Dungeons and Dragons to raise money for charity and imitate Galadriel. Did everyone else just hear that? Okay. Hello, my name is Duffmurder Radovan. I am the host and creator of Science and Sorcery, and tonight we are starting the very first episode of our new mini-campaign, These Lands Call for You. Very excited about this one. It's bound to be a lot of fun. I don't actually know what's going to happen, except there's going to be dragons and maybe dungeons. We'll see. Lots of druids, I can promise you that much. For those of you who remember the Isle of Kratos one-shots where we threw a party of druids and a almost druid at Trevor Valley, I think this is revenge somehow. He must have been involved in this. But it's going to be lots of fun, and hopefully you come along for the ride. Now, of course, I am not going to be playing Dungeons & Dragons on my own. I am going to be joined by 3 fantastic players and a brilliant Dungeon Master. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to them. My fellow players are the incredible science communicator and artist and fellow Badger aficionado, Hannah Ayub. A science communicator, writer, and theater nerd, Danny Stones. And our resident artist, Alex Holt. Don't know how those last 2 feel about Badgers yet. We'll find out. And our DM is our very own resident Chaos Goblin and producer, Sam Langford. Who Badgers, Sam? Yes, no, maybe?
We'll see how I feel in 6 weeks' time.
Cool.
How about that?
All right, sensible. Yeah, I'm very glad to be here. Very excited for this. Before we can get into the show, we are once again raising money for charity. It's January. We have a new charity. This month we're going to be raising money for Beat. Beat is the UK's eating disorder charity. They try to help end the pain and suffering caused by eating disorders. And this time of year, I think they could use a bit more money, given I've had nothing but targeted ads for dieting in about 3 weeks. And I hate it. So help us raise money for Beat. Maybe help influence the story a little bit if you want to help the party. Or harm the party. But, maybe don't do that. Yeah, and we'll be raising money for them all month. What else? What else do we have to say? It's our first stream of the year. That's exciting.
Are you okay, Dagmar?
I have a cold and my brain doesn't work, so I'm trying to remember what I'm meant to be talking about right now. So help.
Well, do you want to just hand over to me and I will take it from there?
Sure. Yes. Let's do that. I genuinely don't know what else I'm meant to be saying.
Chaos, not quality, folks. Before we get going, I'm going to move everyone into their correct position And there we are, because I believe everybody is in the space that they're supposed to. Welcome, everyone. I am so excited to be running this campaign over the next 6 weeks. Thank you to those of you who are already watching and joining in the comments. Someone said they missed that Scottish accent, which I assume was mine at the beginning and not Dagmar's, because that's very different. I'm really excited to run this campaign for this wonderful group of players over the next 6 weeks. Things for you to know as we get going. Yes, Dagmar mentioned we've got lots of druids. All of our group are in some way druidic, but also some of them have multi-classed as well. You'll find out about that as we go on through. If you want to influence what's going on in the game, you can donate to us using the link that has been dropped into the chat. If you donate as little as £5, you can give a character inspiration. If you donate as much as £100 or your equivalent in whatever currency you're using, euros, dollars, whatever it is, I will let you influence the narrative of the entire campaign. So I am happy for everything to change and for us to fuck shit up. So that is a chance for you to do that over the coming weeks. Please do remember, though, for all of those who are watching at home, if there's a character that does something that you don't particularly like, keep it to yourself. We are all characters with their own paths and things they're going to do, and there's also people behind those characters as well. So please be kind, be nice, enjoy what they're going to do. It's going to be so much fun. And I think without further ado, we will get going with our campaign. Unless there's anything else I'm missing. Is everyone happy with that?
I think that's everything. It's only £25 each for the four of us to decide.
Say that again.
Only £25 each.
Oh, your microphone has gone a bit odd. We'll let you fix that as we dive on in. Like many of the tales of heroes that echo through many of the planes of existence, this story begins in a time of peace on the island of Tezorath, a land with broad landscapes centred into a fairly small space, with a large temperate forest to the north, rolling countrysides to the south, open plains to the east, and mineral-rich mountains to the west. It's perfectly north, south, west, and east. It's great. Tezorath mainly lives off of whiskey distilling, fishing, and tourism. The landscape is delightful. There are snow-capped mountains, calm, serene lochs, expansive open fields, and these are just a sliver of the charm that Tezorath has to offer, which is part of why the country is such a popular destination among foreign folks. Now, the people of Tezorath are kind towards visitors and tend to welcome them with a bright smile. They feel they strengthen the country's well-being, and it's said that even when you anger the residents, you'll still get directions to the nearest healer after they punch you in the mouth. The most important thing to many Tezorathians is balance. And key to this balance are the dragons, which make this land their home. Their spirits guide many people through life and maintain balance and order in the delicate but ferocious natural world. And the dragons of Tezorath are revered, with 4 of these dragons being the most so, who we're going to meet a little bit later this evening. A key to maintaining this balance are the Draconic Oath, a druidic folk who protect, watch over, and deliver outreach activities to local villages about the dragons of Tezorath, including the Brora Dragon Festival. And that is where we begin our story. It's the height of spring, and there is much joy in the air. Goblin children run through the streets screaming with mirth, while orcs, humans, drow, and people of countless other folks clink tankards, stuff their faces with meat pies, and plunge into the waters of the Ethelyn River. This festival is a chance to celebrate the life given to the lands by Flora, the master of grain, whose presence and good health guarantee a good harvest each year. Now, this festival is made up of various areas. There's a food and drink area serving an assortment of delicious goods, an open-air theatre with productions from local school children and amateur dramatic groups, a large gift shop run by the festival's sponsor, Dreamstone, which is selling sending stones, crystals, and semi-rare artifacts and has its logo plastered everywhere. And the main area of the festival is the Draconic Square, where the outreach area with talks, interactive tables, and demonstrations run by the Draconic Oath. And in the square, we find a very excited group made up of peoples from all over Tezzerath and even further afield. Druids. Extremely excitable druids, here to engage the audiences of Brora with high-quality, engaging dragon communication. For that is a major part of the role of a Draconic Oath member, to volunteer their time and spread word of the dragons and their role in Tezzerathian history and society. Now, the Archdruid, Brora Harvest, is a dwarven man with a large, almost walrus-like moustache, thinning out hair, and looking very much like he's just rolled out of bed. And he's providing the briefing for the day. For the most part, it's useful information. Try to keep track of the number of people you engage with. If there's a missing pixie, check your own pockets first before raising the missing persons protocol. You can collect your food vouchers at the organizer's tent, and please remember to sign the risk assessment. And that's where we find 4 characters. There's a small automaton, stood with a clipboard, an inked feather, and an unnaturally wide grin. Good morning. Please remember to read, sign, and date today's general risk assessment. All accidents are not the responsibility of the Draconic Oath, and we will not accept liability for injuries or damage to property, including but not limited to burns, loss of limbs, hurt feelings, a sense of regret, or death. Have a pleasant day. Gulo, you're first up to sign and read the risk assessment. Could you describe your character and what brought you to the Draconic Oath? Oh, you're muted, Alex. There you go, I've unmuted you.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Yes, so Gulo is a dueregar, a grey dwarf. She has a pair of sort of green turquoise goggles on, sort of account for the sunlight up here. And she is in the combat wheelchair, which we shall very generously credit to Sarah Thompson for making that wonderful artifact. And she's sort of got a lot of blankets going on, and there is a little Arctic fox spirit that sort of sits on her lap.
Okay, could I get you to roll me a perception check, please?
You can indeed. 19.
Perfect. You are very intent on reading the risk assessment, and you take in all of the information that is being sent out as part of this event today. Lucky, you're next in line to read over and sign the risk assessment. Could you describe your character and tell us about what brought you to the Draconic Oath?
Yeah, Lucky is a halfling cleric / druid, and he just likes nature and walking between all the villages of Tezzerath and meeting all the people and reveling in the nature as he's going from village to village. And so he thinks, the dragons really kind of symbolize that connection and really wants to kind of promote it and keep this nice little place going. Yeah.
Fabulous. Could you also roll me a perception check?
26.
You are poring over every detail of this risk assessment. Like you're sure you could recite it to the letter, to the word, if someone was to ask you about it.
How is the grain of the paper?
What's the grain of the paper? It's a fairly old parchment that you've got. You feel that if you were to spend too much time holding it, the kind of oil from your fingers might cause it to disintegrate, which gives you a sense of is this an up-to-date risk assessment? When was this last looked at and updated? So you have a sense of trepidation about it, thinking about it. Are the management here really taking it seriously? Badger, you're next in line. You tell us who you are and what brought you to the Draconic Oath.
Yeah, Badger is a sort of just average-sized individual, but moves with purpose. Doesn't waste any energy on anything that isn't necessary. Long white hair, scarred face, mouth sort of permanently turned down from a scar that's sort of runs down their chin. They've got a not quite as demonic looking pine marten sort of curled around their shoulders. Danny, your art is amazing, but holy shit. That's sort of shimmering slightly with heat and flame. And they came to the Draconic Oath because they got a bit fed up with their previous line of work. It was very intensive, and they decided that their skills that they'd learned there could be put to better use helping people rather than merely entertaining.
Okay, fabulous. And as the others have, could you roll me a perception check, please?
14? Yeah, 14.
You realize the importance of the risk assessment, and like you're taking in the detail. You're probably not looking at the quality of the grain of the parchment on which it's written, but you're taking in the important things. And finally, stepping up to read a risk assessment, Hannah Rat. Who are you, and what brought you to the Draconic Oath?
I am Rat Elraw. I am a humanoid honey badger who has a scar over her left eye and wears an eye patch. She's Leonian barbarian / druid. In a previous life was a science festival organizer, but people sort of not doing what they were told or following the rules or not being inclusive enough sort of drove her to run away and become a pirate. And now she's sort of finally returning to a festival environment and finding that quite interesting.
I'm in the middle of watching Our Flag Means Death, and see when you said like not being inclusive enough and then pirate. If it was a week ago, I'd be like, it's not the right place to go. But now having watched that, going, yeah, really, that's exactly like you need to go and become a pirate. Could you roll me a perception check?
Can someone remind me how to do that?
On your character sheet, you have the long list of skills.
Yeah.
And down
yeah.
section.
Okay. $25.
Whoa. So not quite as high as lucky. Like you're poring over it, and I think that this comes back to your kind of like your project management like instincts. You're very keen to make sure that you know exactly what is going on, what the risks are, and what is able to be done in case of any accidents or emergencies that may happen as part of today's Dragon Festival. Now that you've all signed in, you're able to get yourself
question
ready.
for Hannah.
Oh, yep.
Hannah, did you roll natural 20?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, you should say when you roll natural 20, because
Okay.
that's even better than just getting a 25.
Okay, with a natural
Just for
20
future notes, yeah.
In this scenario with a natural 20, you see risks before they even come near. Like you wrote this document, and therefore people will come to you for advice if this.
Did I write it before I became a pirate? That's why it's so old
Yeah,
and falling apart. Okay.
It's an old document. You went off to become a pirate for a bit. No one else has updated it, but the information is still very relevant. So whilst Lucky may have a bit of trepidation about the information in there, you know for sure that it is absolutely what it needs to be for today, and would roll anyone over the coals if it turned out that it wasn't being followed. So you're now
might
ready
even fly
to.
into a rage.
You might well fly into a rage. So that brings us at this point. After you finish signing the risk assessment, the Archdruid comes rushing by, clearly very stressed, like our dwarven man with his large, almost walrus-like mustache. He's like, where is she? This event is due to start in just a few minutes, and the main reason people turn out isn't even here. It's ridiculous. And running alongside the dwarf is this small myconid, rushing alongside with a small sketch pad. This is Pylea Stape, a little mushroom man with a bioluminescent purple and blue cap. My lord, but you know, she likes to make an entrance. She's never missed a year yet, and I don't think she ever will. Mark my words, she'll be here. But remember, the first rule of any event planning is that something will go wrong. But it'll be fine. If we need extra entertainment, the state colony will step up and play some songs from Fungus Among Us. And he just like gestures over to like a little family of mushrooms that are all like holding out instruments ready to go. Back to the dwarf is like, thank you, Peleus. That won't be necessary. You're right. There she is. And sure enough, gliding across the sky is an adult green dragon. Smaller than most, this dragon shines bright like an emerald and has a glowing red and orange flame at the tip of her tail. Pirouetting through the sky, the crowds cheer as she slowly descends towards the festival site. She lands in the middle of the square with a flourish, takes a small bow, and gestures to the crowd. Welcome, my dear friends, before being mobbed by children and adults alike. The last you see is her rolling on her back, bellowing with laughter as the local children climb all over her. And now, the Brora Dragon Festival is open and welcome to the public, and you all head off to your allocated spots for your outreach activities which are taking place for today. And we head first of all over to the touch table, which is where we find Gulo. So Gulo, you have been put on the touch table where there are a number of artifacts where people can come up and learn about things to do with the dragons of Tezzerath. There are two little kids that start to come up to you, and before I introduce them, I'm going to show the audience at home what it is that you are talking about. Alex's face. Goodness, that's exactly what
What's happening here?
So there's a table in front of you, and there are a number of different artifacts on it. There's the Elder Tooth, there's Shorus's scale, and there's Flora's poo. And there are two little kids in front of you. One a little bit older than the other, maybe in his teens. He's quite a kind of thin looking teenager, and a smaller kid. Now, you've seen the older kid around before. This is Rathello. Rathello is always extremely keen to know more about anything at all that people bring to the town. Really wants to know about all of the different activities or the different artifacts that come along. Quite a suspicious looking character. And I need to remind myself who Sisha is, because oh yes, I know who this is. This is a small little human girl who is got kind of black curly hair that falls over her shoulders, and she's always trailed along by a skeletal cat, a dead cat, but it is able to walk around. It's just a skeleton of a cat that she's made friends with. So Rathello walks over to the poo and is like, "What is this?"
Well, that would be the poo of fluoride.
Why do you have the poo of the dragon?
Well, you see, when we are making sure the dragons are doing well, we need to know what they're eating, make sure they're not getting any parasites. Need to make sure that their diet is and their digestive systems are in order. And we can even tell, to a degree, where they've been hunting.
Huh. What sort of parasites do dragons get?
Well, they have various species endemic to the different groups. A lot of them are highly magical in themselves, and to be honest, the most common ones we would see in a dung sample, such as this one, would be there are certain tapeworms that are endemic to the different species of dragons. They have to be quite resilient because they have to be able to survive the sort of intense acids of the dragon's digestive system, or indeed the other elements of the breath weapon that might feed back into the digestive system. So they're fairly hardy creatures.
Wow, a dragon tapeworm. That must be a big creature.
Oh yes, they can reach, well, proportionate to the dragon they're in. There is no known limit to their length, as only compared to the dragon.
Wow. Well, I hope you never have to come across one of those.
Alex, the player, is regretting coming up with that.
Sam, the DM, is like, I have an idea now. So then Rothello then points at the scale in the middle and is like, what's this? This is beautiful. What is it?
This is one of the scales of the dragons.
And what's the scale?
Well, you are familiar with such things as fish and reptiles, I believe. And
Yes, yeah.
yes, so it is their outer layer of skin. It is quite a sort of tough substance. Sort of, as you know, dragons are famously robust creatures, and it sort of provides them defense. But they could also, as in this case, shed the scales to sort of replenish that.
And this is very shiny. It looks kind of like a jewel. Is it expensive?
Well, it depends on what there is a sort of traditional use of armor manufacture out of some of them in the long past. Not so much these.
Okay. And you can just see the cogs turning in this teenager's head. Meanwhile, like the little girl Sisha who's there, she just like lunges forward and picks up the elder tooth and is like, "Is this tooth from a dead dragon?"
Do I know if it's from a dead dragon or not? Or do I just?
This is a chance for you to decide.
Okay. No, this was one we recovered while we were studying one of the feeding sites. It had sort of just snapped off in a bit of a deer skull. The dragons can replenish their teeth quite readily. Sort of the similar mechanism to sharks in a way, although they're not related to sharks, I must stress. But they have constantly growing teeth to account for the fact that they have very, very long lifespans.
Oh, well, that's a shame. I always wanted to meet a dead dragon.
I mean, there are such things as Draco liches that are reputed to exist.
Oh, is that a dragon that can come back from the dead?
I mean, it's a dragon that has come back from the dead.
And how
It's
does
like a cat, but a dragon.
Oh, that's really cool. How do dragons die?
With difficulty, to be honest.
Why?
Because they are very tough and very long-lived creatures.
Why?
Well, a lot of it is to do with the magic that is in it. Also, they are just very, very sturdy. Like, look at that scale, and I just literally like take out a little hammer I've got on my belt and just like whack it, and it just like nothing.
She looks you dead in the eye and she said, "But why?"
That perhaps you'll be the one to find out.
Take an inspiration for that. At this point, Rothello has been standing looking at the poo quite intensely for a little bit, and is gonna like start to talk to you about it again and say like, "So this poo came from that dragon over there," and points to Flora, who's still rolling around on the ground. At this moment, she's put herself in such a position that the kids are climbing over her back and sliding down her long, sleek tail, creating this like some sort of playground for the kids at this point. The adults in the group are loving it. Like one dad has to be held back because he's trying to climb up the scales to go on the slide as well.
There's always one.
This poo came from Flora.
Yes.
Oh, how did you get it?
We had an arrangement with her for educational purposes.
That's an interesting answer, but he nods. He's like, okay. And then he goes to like to try and pick up the tray that it's on, and stumbles and knocks it to the floor down in front of you. So, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
No worries. These things happen. And I pick up the tray.
You go to pick it up. Can you roll me a perception check, please?
I can indeed. Nat 20 for 23.
So you notice like there's something about it as you like go down. You watch out of the corner of your eye as this like teenage boy has tried to pick up the scale and pocket it, but you notice it happening. And
I just like do note the sign says don't touch the item unless I say it's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. And he just turns and heads off. And at this point, you launch back into a conversation with Sisha about death, which like goes on for half an hour. At this point, we make our way over to the mask making station where we find Badger. You're sat with a group of kids who are all making dragon masks. How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, pretty good. Not talking much, mostly just carefully taking the sharp objects away from children when they look like they're waving around too much, and helping stabilize bits of cardboard and things so they can stick all the different parts of their masks together at the right angles.
So
yeah, generally having a good time.
Okay, good. As you're sat there noticing this go on, you see that there's a small Goliath child who's just sitting eating glue.
I'm just going to very gently go over to the child, crouch down, and just take the glue from the child's hands.
I need you to roll me a strength check.
I'm not very strong, so...
Yeah, tested strength check with this Goliath.
3!
A 3, did you say?
Yes.
The little Goliath rolled a natural 18. So like he just looks at you in the face as you try to like take this glue out of his hands, grabs your wrist and pushes you away, and just like continues shoveling it in. It's PVA.
Okay, in that case, I will look at the child and, as a bonus action, my face suddenly changes shape slightly. The bones become a bit sharper, the mouth and nose elongate into a more bestial form, teeth sharpen, and I'm just gonna growl slightly and say to the child, if you keep eating that, your insides all stick together very soon. Give me the glue.
Make me an intimidation check with advantage.
Natural 20 for a total of 22.
This like kid just begins to like the little. He's quite big. He's like a Goliath. So like you're like just like looking him dead, like up at him dead in the eye as he like halfway through a mouthful just stops and like considers what he's doing and just like kind of hands the tub of PDA that he's got back to you, and you can see that he's like he's not enjoying it now that he's stopped. He's like, this was a bad idea, and you can see as he like his nose starts to twitch and he's still looking down at you, and he just erupts in a Goliath sneeze. So could you roll me a Constitution save, please? It's this kind of like, like that horrible, like throaty, horrible cough that a kid does, like just with their mouth fully wide open.
You mean the kind I've been having for days? Yes. That is a natural 19 for 22.
Okay. So this kid has a cold, and so like coughed towards you, but you see it coming and dodge the germs. So you're
That's how germs work.
that's exactly how it works.
It's just one big germ. Just
Yeah. One
But
big
they're all stuck
blob.
to the glue, Alex.
As you turn away, just like leave that kid to whatever it was they do.
I'm gonna because this child did just eat a bunch of glue. I will like call over one of the like or medics or the kid's parents or something and get them to take him to the medics. Just because someone should deal with a child who's eaten half a bucket of glue.
Well, the parents should be doing it really, but you
Yeah.
just like Goliath, just walking around, just like that's the dad who was too busy like trying to like slide down the dragon,
Yeah.
No.
meanwhile his kid's eating glue. I was like,
Yeah.
Where's
And
the
sneezing
lion?
on poor badgers. I'm gonna before I turn back to the other children, my face goes back to normal, so as not to scare anyone else.
Well, that's really good because you turn back and like, there's a very quiet child who's just been sitting very patiently working on a mask. This is a small, kind of frail-looking, hairless little child wearing a kind of blue dress. She's got like beautiful green eyes that seem to see everything. She's smiling. She seems quite happy, just very quiet. And she's carrying like a really well-loved fox plushie under her arm. She's just sitting, cutting away, gluing this mask.
I'm just gonna like nod at the child in approval of the mask.
And she'll like smile back and nod at you. I had asked all of the players in advance if they would be up for making a dragon mask. And I haven't seen what they've come up with.
Yes.
Would anyone like to share? I know, Dagmar, you have been unwell.
I decided not to use a box cutter yesterday because I
you were
like
sneezed
having
on by Goliath and got sick.
yes. I like having all my fingers attached to my hands.
Okay, what have we got, folks?
Ooh, shall I go first? With it?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Oh wow, like a lovely bright white dragon. Was there a reason for the white dragon that you chose?
Pardon?
Was there a reason for the white dragon?
So Gulo is background. Man, that's giving me a weird echo when I'm talking. So yeah, Gulo was first inspired to sort of join the order when she emerged onto the surface and saw a huge white dragon. And that was sort of like what sort of let her think she would be able to sort of survive up here. This sort of majestic creature.
Perfect. You don't have to keep it on. Well, you can if you want.
I'll keep it until everyone else has at least got theirs on.
Hannah, what have you got for us? Oh wow.
My god.
This actually stayed on like when I didn't also have headphones on.
That's
That-
amazing.
Wow.
That is so good. Tell it three of our players are like artists
Yes.
that are involved. Like I couldn't like Dakar's not. It's not just you. It's not. I couldn't do this.
I'm glad I
um,
couldn't make one yesterday.
and Lucky. The glasses have to come off. That's like serious business.
Oh,
wow.
I love it.
I love the kind of flappy ears.
This is amazing.
Absolutely brilliant.
Definitely the friendliest of the dragons.
I mean, I think so, but there's like something about the smile that if I caught it in the dark, it might not quite be. So.
Oh no, it's getting punched.
So like other people around are wearing the mask that they've made, and Badger, you haven't made a mask. You can see some of the kids kind of looking, going, "Where's your mask?" And as they ask that, there's an old kind of crotchety man with a blue robe just walks past, and you just see his hand start to like make a small little movement as he casts seeming on your face, and your face begins to change to look exactly like the emerald green dragon that is in the middle of the square. And they freak out. they are so happy about this, and they just begin to squeal. Even like the little girl who has been sitting quietly just like turns to you and goes, "You are so cool."
Thank you.
And you just continue to do exactly what you were doing at that
Yep.
point. That then brings us over. Well, at this point, before like something else starts to happen, you start to hear like some bangs behind you. Flora begins to set off fireworks, and the kids in the square are going like they're absolutely loving what's going on. Some of the elderly that are visiting today kind of shake their heads in apparent disapproval, but secretly they love it. And there's just lots of like fantastical colours exploding in the sky as this dragon is lighting them using the end of that tail that they've got for them. But we now come over to a tent where, Lucky, you're getting ready to deliver a presentation for a group who've all kind of crowded round on seats to listen to a little bit about the dragons of Tezzerath, and to find out a little bit more about what we are doing to look after them and maintain their lands. So I will hand it over to you, and I'll get up what we're doing for that as well. Slowly but surely. Is it this one? Yeah, there we go. Over to you, Lucky.
Just to remind myself, Dreamstone is the sponsor.
Yes.
Yes.
There's just the druid at the second. Yeah, please mention the sponsor. You have to mention the sponsor.
You mean?
Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome. Come on in, take a seat. Hello. Now, my name is Lucotrix Goodmarch, but you can call me Lucky. I am giving a presentation today about the dragons of...
Oh no, we've lost
Yeah,
them. Danny, we've got a kind of delay. You might want to start again.
Oh, a delay on me?
Yeah, just a little bit of your audio went.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. My name is Lucotrix Goodmarch. We're learning today about dragons. The dragons of Tezzerath are essential for maintaining balance in our land. So let's find out a little more about them. But first, I'd like to say thank you to our sponsor, Dreamstone. I'm going to be honest, they gave me a press release to read, but I didn't bother. But I'm sure they're very good at whatever it is they do. Next slide, please. There are many dragons in this land, but there are 4 who are the most important. We have the champion of the green, Frangan, who keeps our lands green and growing. If you've ever had a walk in the woods, you've experienced some of that. We have the master of grain, Florade, who I believe was setting off some fireworks earlier. They keep the weather stable, keep the rain coming down and the sun shining so that our crops grow well. She's my personal favorite because I love the feel, so I do. We have Parlan, protector of the ocean. If you like fish and chips, then that's the dragon for you. And finally, we have Shoras, lord of the mountains, who maintains order for all the dragons in Tezzerath. You may think that they're going to be the most serious one because of all the order maintaining, but I tell you, you give them a drink and well. Next slide, please. Those of you who know me know that I like nature and walking, but what I don't like are fences. They divide up a good walk. You've got to find a sty to get over them, or blast a hole in them if you're so inclined. On a side note, I think the number of fences in Tezzerath is increasing, and that's a sign of the consolidation of power and the growth of farms. And while farming is good, I have doubts about what? Oh, I'm sorry, my boss is telling me to move on. But dragons, anyway. A dragon is like a fence, only a good fence. A hedgerow, perhaps. They keep all the bad things out, but also help there to be life. Next slide, please. Dragons are powerful, but there are things that threaten them. We have these symbols here representing those things. Does anyone have any ideas what these symbols may represent? Anyone at all?
Do
No?
people go fishing for dragons?
Well, something like that, yes. If the dragon is a fish-eating dragon, and people are catching lots of fish, then the dragon has nothing to eat.
Oh, is Danny frozen? Which is gutting. Because
Hello, I'm back.
Oh, no.
I'm back.
you're back. You're back.
Yep.
Yes, so there's the fishing, the overfishing problem. There's also 2 axes in a cross. Now, this is not specifically about axes, although I suppose that could do some damage. But this is about deforestation. The forest dragons need places to live and hunt, and places to test their fire out if they're so inclined. And so a lack of forests, which we are facing in some parts, will be a bother for them. We also have the target on the dragon there. Some people, cruel, callous people, hunt dragons for sport. We're not fond of those people here, I'm sure. I'm sure you'll understand that. And finally, mining. I don't really like underground. I don't really know what goes on in mines, but maybe dragons eat rocks or something like that. I'm sure some of the geology druids could tell you a bit more about that. Next slide, please. And so, thank you for coming to this presentation today. I hope you learned something. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Thank you again to Dreamstone and whatever it is that you're up to. Maybe you're a mattress provider, providing good dreams, something like that. I don't know. Thank you very much. Any questions?
There's a whole bunch of hands go up. We'll start with the kids. As you would expect, there to be lots of questions from children who are really keen to know more about all the things you've just said about dragons. And there's like a small little girl down the front just says, "What's your favourite kind of dragon?"
That's a very good question. I like the dragons of the open fields, the dragons that like to run. They can fly, of course, but they prefer to run from place to place. You see them in great big groups. That's my favourite kind. Do you have a favourite kind of dragon?
Oh, there's one over in the hatchery that you can see all of its insides. And that's really cool.
Yes, the glass dragons, we call them.
Yeah, I like them. There's a little boy, like, who's picking his nose, and just like has his hand up, like a little goblin boy. He's like, "Can dragons fart?"
Why, of course they can. All living things, they do. Of course, with a dragon, as with the front end, you've got to watch out for fire.
And the last question from one of the kids is, what's the biggest dragon you've ever seen?
Well, I suppose that would be the 4 dragons that we see here. I've seen them all at one time or another, and they're all pretty big. I don't think I've ever seen them next to each other, so I couldn't do a direct comparison. But maybe if you see Florade out in the square, maybe ask her who's the biggest. I'm sure she'd like to talk about that.
And then you see like a kind of like very, very delicately raised arm from the direct center of the room. standing up is a very elegantly dressed elven woman with long tied back hair. She's holding what looks to be some form of hourglass. She's Lady Carilla Larenhale. When you say the dragons are like a good fence,
Yes.
what does that mean exactly? That's an interesting analogy.
Yes, well, I suppose a fence is used to keep things in or to keep things out, depending on where you live, or often both. If you have a farm, you don't want your animals to escape, but you don't want foxes to get in. And the dragons serve a similar purpose for Tezzerath. They keep all the good things in, like the magic and the joy and the community spirit. But they also keep out the bad things, like fence manufacturers.
Okay, right. Follow up to that question then. How might we, as good citizens of Tezzerath, best preserve the dragons?
Well, first off, not contributing to the problems I mentioned earlier is a good start. So maybe thinking about if you live in an area where there's deforestation, talk to the people there, find out what's going on, and protest it, and smash up their machinery. And what? Oh, I'm being told to stop talking about that again. That was a one-time thing. I'm sure. But there's lots of things you can do. You can talk to us at the Draconic Oath. There's lots of us around here, and we all have different ways of helping. But it's all about maintaining the balance in our country. As the dragons protect us, we protect them.
And finally, just thank you so much for taking the time to run us over that presentation. As the Chief Executive of Dreamstone, I would like to just take this time to say that we will be sending a donation of 10,000 platinum to the Draconic Oath to continue your fine work.
Thank you, and thank you for your services as well.
And she just turns to the room and says, "Just everyone, please do visit the gift shop. We're not a mattress provider, but you can find sending stones, semi-rare artifacts, gems, and such in the gift shop."
That's the one. I knew I'd heard of you somewhere.
Dreams is a slightly different corporation that exists in a different universe.
But if they want to sponsor us, we are accepted.
Just I was opening a future episode going, do you have trouble sleeping? Well, how about this incredible mattress? We'll bring on Lenny Henry. He'll help. No, that's different. That's a different. What Silent Night? Was it Silent Night that Lenny Henry did? So
I thought it was like Premier Inn.
Was it Premier Inn?
I don't know. Lucky had a little bit of Lenny
nice
Tangle there.
mattresses.
They do.
I barely know who Lenny Henry is. You could bring on a random person and tell me it's Lenny Henry.
It's gone from like nation sweetheart of a comedian to a really serious actor in fantasy, so it would be good. It'd be good for us. As Lady Carilla stops speaking, you just see another hand go up, but the person just stands up and doesn't wait for you to gesture to them. Yes. Less of a question and more of a comment, really. You said in your presentation that hunting of these foul beasts is a leading cause for concern, and you find the people who do this cruel and callous. Isn't that a bit hyperbolically charged, a bit accusatory in nature, demeaning to the upper classes and erasing our good culture of sport?
No.
Why should we accept these monsters lording over this land? What are they hiding?
I have often asked the same thing, but I'm told we can't really do anything about the ruling classes.
Oh, please don't kill Alex with. You notice that, like, you're taking a moment to take in this gentleman's appearance, and you've come across this gentleman in the past, like working the Draconic Oath. You're made aware of individuals like this and expect that they might ask questions when you come to events. This is Captain Osiris Telluride Armbender Dar Willie IV Esquire. He's a social anthropologist, an arcane archaeologist, and keen hunter. He talks and acts like a kind of upper-class, middle-aged white man, but what you see is essentially a lizard folk that's dressed like the hunter from Jumanji that is speaking to you just now. Yeah, he hasn't really enjoyed what he's just learned, so taking from what you've just said, just sits down grumpily. And Danny, please take an inspiration die for everything we've gone through. To be honest, all three of you should have them now because that was fantastic. As we kind of zoom over to the last place in our outreach journey, and you can see that Florian is letting kids roast marshmallows on her tail. They're just like it's getting kind of later into the afternoon, and they're just like sitting around this little campfire on this tail roasting these marshmallows. We now zoom over to the hatchery. And Rad, you're in charge over the hatchery where very young dragons are running about in a small pen. Dragons of all kinds can be found in this area, and it's quite a chaotic little scene. You're currently engaged in conversation with an older lady who's introduced herself as Mother Idol, and she wants to talk about breeding dragons. And like we join in the middle of a conversation that's just, and you know, to me, it's a vocation you have to understand. The people may not see it, but and instead they think I'm this weird old bat collecting little drakes to replace the gap in my life where a child never was. But that's not the case. They are my babies. Yes, I love them all dearly, but at the end of the day, it's a financial thing. What do you think? Do you agree that it's okay to keep dragons on the inside and never let them out? Because my neighbour William keeps telling me one day you'll burn down your house and houses on fire catch other houses on fire. I think, quite honestly, the old man needs to take the stick out of his rear end. What do you think?
I think there's a few different factors here. I think, your neighbour does have some very real concerns there. We don't want houses setting on fire, especially houses that are close to other houses. But also we need to consider dragon welfare. And these dragons, not only do they really love the outdoors, but they grow very, very big. So are you only keeping your dragons until they, are a certain size?
Well, no, all of the dragons that I purchase are teacup dragons.
Teacup dragons don't really exist, I'm afraid. It's a bit of a myth. They do continue growing throughout their entire lives.
Not if you don't feed them enough.
Ma'am, do you have a license for these dragons?
At this point, a very small red dragon comes waddling over to you and holds out its front legs and looks up at you and says, "Up!"
Pick up the dragon.
And this is like just this lovely little sweet little dragon that's just like smiling at you, and then it turns and looks at Mother Idol, and it just kind of goes like a grumpy face looking at her, looks back at you. Mother Idol's like, "A license? Since when did you need a license to hold a drake in your house?"
It was brought in about 50 years ago because it was found that people were keeping dragons in quite unsafe conditions. For example, they weren't feeding them enough because they didn't want them to get big.
Well, I don't have time to read the papers and to keep up with the daily goings on.
Where did you get these dragons from? Because
I don't believe that's any of your business.
Okay, because there are also restrictions around dragon breeding, I'm afraid.
Did I say that my name was Mother Idol? That was remiss of me. Mother Anti-Quick. As her face, like she's trying to think up an alternative name for her, the dragon that you're holding, you can start to feel it hiccuping. It's just like being held like facing her, and it's got the hiccups.
I'm just gonna keep holding it, facing her direction.
Are you going to help at all? Like with the pups?
Can you help dragon hiccups? Because like human ones just don't. You can't do anything.
Well, it's like a little baby. You could like pat it on the back and help it burp.
Okay. I'm slightly worried that if I pat the dragon on the back, it's gonna like erupt in flames.
Okay, well,
You know what? I'm just gonna do it anyway. I'm patting the dragon on the back.
Can you make me a dexterity save, please?
Is this against an effect that she can see? Because barbarians have advantage.
Yes, you would, so roll with advantage. But also, you read your risk assessment to the letter, so you would expect this.
16 plus 2, 18.
18. So at this point, this little dragon, who ironically their name is Teacup, just like belches with a huge burp. And with your dexterity save, like you manage to like avoid any of the flames coming out, but the flames travel towards Mother Idol, and her hair catches on fire. She starts to scream and run around, saying, "I can't believe that this is the sort of thing that would happen in a place like this. Why aren't people being more careful?" And at this point, another druid comes over and just like casts control water to extinguish the flames, and turns to you and goes, "Good thing we put that in the risk assessment. Am I right?" And she just kind of wanders off at this point. You now see that there's a small group of children who are kind of squealing with delight at the glass dragon that the little boy mentioned, the little girl mentioned earlier on. This is Morag. She's always like a really big hit with the audiences. She's got this transparent skin that allows you to see her internal organs. And so you begin to head over to see what these kids are looking at and if they've got any questions. And there's one little boy who's like, how do dragons make their magic breath? And you can see inside that there's little glands along the inside of the throat of this creature, which as a druid you would know.
So they have these little glands along their throats, and inside there's these little magic factories that produce fire and smoke.
And what do dragons eat?
Anything they want, really, but it sort of depends on the type of dragon. So some dragons might eat fish, other dragons might eat birds. We have the occasional herbivorous dragon as well, which means that they only eat plants.
And are dragons dangerous?
They can be, but only if you corner them, get between them and their young, or treat them badly, for example, by not feeding them enough.
Oh, well. That old lady was strange.
She was a little bit.
And are dragons grumpy? Do they get grumpy?
They can do. Do you get grumpy?
If I'm tired and not have enough to eat.
I think everyone gets grumpy sometimes, and the dragons are like that too. So especially if they're tired or hungry, they can get quite grumpy. The problem is with dragons, when they're grumpy, they can breathe fire. So we try not to let them get that way.
My dad says sometimes if I get him angry, he'll breathe fire. Oh, I need to not get him angry. At this point,
does your dad get angry often?
No. This is not a child protection moment.
This took a very different direction than we were expecting.
That's when we got £100 donation when the whole party has to now go and rescue this kid from their angry parent. At this point, Flora, like in the middle of the square, Lucky, you notice this, like as you're coming out from your presentation, that she begins to say she needs a breather, and her minders start to herd the kids and the Goliath dad away. And with your passive perception of 23, you notice that the flame at the end of her tail seems to flicker, like just for a millisecond. And that brings you to the end of your shift. Other members of the Draconic Oath are going to take over and run the rest of the afternoon shift. And you are free to all head out to enjoy a little bit of the festival. I would say we haven't discussed this in the past, but you all know each other. You're involved in the Draconic Oath, so you all meet up in the middle of the square. There's a couple of things you can go and do. There's like places to get something to eat. You can collect your vouchers. There's the gift shop. You could take in a show. You could do whatever it is you'd like. What would you like to do?
Would we do something like have a quick meetup after our shift, just to sort of compare notes? Like, it's like, watch out for that one. He'll be trying to steal your stuff.
Could go get some food and drink and have a bit of a debrief.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can head over to the food and drink area. You've got a voucher that lets you get like something to eat, something to drink. You don't need to pay anything in this area. There's a number of different stalls that you could go to. There's a whole bunch of them. Is there anything specific that anybody's looking for? Meat, vegetarian, just a drink.
My favorite ever festival lunch that I was given was a sandwich, and you know those flying saucer sweets with sherbet in, but an entire thing of those, and that was the complimentary dinner. So I'm looking for I'm not looking for something like that. I don't think Lucky would approve of.
From anybody else wants?
Are they serving alcohol?
Yeah, there's a stand called Smoked and Peaty, which is a whiskey stand.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'll go get some whiskey. I've got my own tankard though, and I'd like to just fill it to like the brim.
Tankard of
For a second there, Dagmar, could you repeat what you said?
I'm going to get a full tankard of whiskey, if possible. But I'm bringing my own tankard. Very eco-friendly.
You've seen too many Goliath globs flying through the air to be you're worrying about germs. That is like part of it, at least. Okay, you're heading over to Smoked and Peaty. There's a small halfling with a very red face and a very round little belly, who is very happily pouring very large whiskies. So you can choose from like a couple of different whiskey types if you'd like, or if you just want his recommendation.
Smoky as possible. The smokiest.
Smoky as possible. So this little gentleman turned around and goes, I think you've been doing an incredibly good job today. A 125-year-old, and he gets out a little stool and like climbs up like 10 feet, comes back down with like an ornate little bottle. It's not a big bottle, it's just a small little miniature. For him, it's quite a big bottle. Begins to pour it into your tankard. It's like, this is like strained through peat to give it this really good smoky taste, and then aged for 100 years in a port barrel. So hope you enjoy.
Thank you.
I think I'll sort of pull up there and get some as well.
The same one?
I'm trying to think. So I'm something that just sort of appeals to a dwarven palate. I'm not quite sure what that means exactly.
Think for a second.
Earthy, yeah.
Yeah, something earthy. So I feel another kind of peaty type would be good. But this time he's like, you mentioned an earth one, and he opens a hatch beneath and he climbs down into the ground, and comes back out with like
It's just a stall that's set up, and he dug a hole.
yeah. He's ready for
It's the only way to store dwarven whiskey.
So like he's down there, and you can hear him kind of rattling about for a little bit, and then comes back up with this incredibly dusty bottle, and it's like this forged in the mines, and pours you a generous helper.
That looks perfect. Thank you very much.
And for Lucky and for Rat, are you looking for anything else?
I'm going to be honest, I thought we were on the morning shift, and so it's only about midday.
The halfling just like kind of like tips his glass and says, "It's an afternoon somewhere."
That's true.
But you're welcome to find food. You don't have to stay with these two that are drinking whiskey.
I'll go and browse the food stalls.
you heading along as well?
Yeah, I'll go and look for some food. Do we know what sort of food's on offer?
There's a whole bunch of different things. I have prepped you some stalls. We've got salted meat, preserved meats that are great for long journeys. Fisherman's man fry. So there's the meat and mash. There's seamot, dibblers, pies, sausages, and victuals. The nasty pasty and things on sticks.
I want to head over to Things on Sticks.
Oh, I can never say no to things on sticks.
These corn dogs.
You head over to Things on Sticks, and there's just it's a couple who are running it. It's like an orcish couple, two orc men that are there, and they've just got like a large grill that has just got like skewers of unidentified brown meat on sticks. What can I do?
I'll take the brown one, please.
Which shade of brown are you looking for?
Good question. Mahogany, please.
Mahogany is a good choice, a good age. Just the one?
Yes, please. Well, what about you, Rat?
I'll take the rest.
The rest. So just like a dozen like skewers. Are you sure you want the rest? Do you want all of them?
Maybe 5.
5. Okay. Is it chef's choice?
Yeah, whatever. I'll eat anything.
Okay. So you just it gets like a little cone out to put like the 5 in. Just like hands that over to you, and then to Lucky will hand you over your mahogany thing on a stick.
Now, oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, now, Rat, you're, you know about the dragons in terms of, how they work and things like that, right?
Yeah. I should point out, by the time like Lucky's turned around, all my food's gone.
I noticed something just before we all met up. Flore, just before she left for her mandatory union break, she her tail flame, it flickered just a little bit. I've never seen that before. Is that normal?
Not sure. I don't think I've seen it before either, but I haven't paid that much close attention to the tail fire before. Normally making sure there isn't fire coming out of their mouths.
When you're my height and the tail's swishing around just above the floor,
I can see that. Yeah, that's an interesting one. We should check with the others. Can we head back over to the others?
Well, I assume we'd probably be coming to the food.
Probably would have followed you, yeah. Badgers finished their whiskey.
Okay.
All of it.
Did either of you notice the tail flickering? The flame flickering?
I did not, but is this something I could make a nature check on, or?
You can certainly try.
Can I also try to see?
Another nat 20. I like this dice.
So, Badger, no, you can't try because
no. At this point, I don't know. I take that back.
Yeah.
So, Gulo, you with your natural 20, the nature check you said.
Yeah.
You start to recall some information that you've read. That you spend time poring over books in the library at the main Draconic Oath headquarters and understanding the real in-depth physiology of the dragons of Tezzerath, and those dragons that have flames on the ends of their tail, because not all dragons do, those with flames on the ends of the tail, this flame is an indicator of health, and so the flame burning as brightly as possible indicates high health. So any alterations or changes in that could potentially be a cause for concern. But that's just a flicker. Nothing to worry about.
I'll sort of... Well, the tail fire can be an indicator of health, but I would assume that's if there's sort of more dramatic constant changes. It's not something I've had much experience of in person.
Can we check if there's been any reports of other dragons having flickering flames?
You would be able to check that. Probably not quite in the position that you are just now. You may need to report back to your main head, like Archdruid main headquarters. So that information is unlikely to be available in the space that you are just now.
Maybe they just caught a Goliath cold.
So when you dodged the cold, it went to the dragon.
Well, the dad was over there. Instead of stopping his child from eating glue.
I'm at this point also just, like, as we're having this conversation, acquiring, like, a large quantity of pie and mash.
So you're heading over to the meat and mash.
Yeah.
So it's just a food stall that's run by two gnomes who speak very little common. It's like a spiced game with a kind of vegetable mash. Like, unbeknownst what type of vegetable, but it's a veggie mash.
What do they speak Undercommon?
Yeah, they would speak Undercommon, yeah.
So I'll sort of have a. I'm going to do that thing where you sort of like when you sort of like talk to them, like it's like, yeah, we know the game. What's the good stuff here? Sort of like.
So they go to like a pot towards the back of the stall, and they bring out like the freshest of sweet potato mash, with a kind of venison game meat along the top.
That sounds perfect, thank you. Could I have a little side pot for my fox friend too?
Oh yeah, they reach down and just come up like a little small box, a little wooden fork that they pop in it.
I pop that to my little fox spirit companion, whose name is Shiver.
Badger will go and get some of the dried meat.
Into the dried meat. So salted meats.
Mm-hmm.
This is like staffed by like a young like kind of very pale, thin young man, who is like doesn't seem like he's very happy to be there. Like, he doesn't own this stall, but he's being forced to be there. What can I get you?
I'll take a gold worth of meat.
Are you one of the Draconic Oath?
Yep.
No, you don't need to pay.
No, but I want a gold's worth.
A gold's worth. Okay, right, fine. Just like him muttering under his breath. Like, fucking get me off doing something else instead. My uncle's got. And just like starts to get like a little shovel out. And like you get like a little brown paper bag with a huge amount of like salamis and like sausage song style sausages, cabanos. You're gonna be kept like, unless you eat it all now, you're gonna be kept going for a while.
Yep, that's the point. I give some of it to my Pine Marten friend.
Pine Marten friend have a name?
Pine Marten's friend's name is Sparrow, because I love to confuse people.
Okay. Anything else you want to do? Go visit the gift shop. We've got
let's have a look at the gift shop and see what Dreamstone do.
Are we all heading there?
A mattress, please.
I'm gonna stay outside the gift shop and just sort of people watch.
I'll stay with
Okay.
Badger.
Yeah, Lucky heading on into the gift shop. You can see that it's like very brightly lit, and you can see that logo connecting all of Tezzerath, Dreamstone, just like hung everywhere, like an excessive amount of logos. It just seems like they really want you to know that this is Dreamstone and this is what they do. You still don't really know. what they do.
In hindsight, I feel I should have known who they were.
And you can see that there are imagine the Apple Store is what you need to imagine in your head now, is just like tables upon which there are sending stones, all laid out along them, lots and lots and lots of sending stones, and like as you start to look at them, a very excitable salesperson comes up to you like, "Welcome to Dreamstone."
Hello.
What are you here to make a purchase?
I don't know. What do you have?
We have sending stones.
Oh, I see. Now,
well,
when they said gift shop, I'm going to be honest. I thought we're at a science festival. It's a dragon festival. There's a gift shop. I was expecting, I don't know, some adorable postcards with dragons on them. Maybe a cuddly dragon, something like that. Fossils, maybe.
No, you
anything
don't.
like.
Well, he points over towards the till, and you just see like one of the kind of rotating stands with keychains on them. Like, that's probably as good as you're gonna get.
Thank you very much. I have nothing against your seeing stones, but I've got one of my own, and I pull out like a really old model. It's like the Nokia 3310 of seeing stones. It's like, you know, I imagine not shiny at all. It's like granite.
Have you ever thought about bringing that in for a polish? We do like a very good deal on polishing of sending stone.
I think it gives it character, if I'm honest. Does it impact on the utility of the stone?
Well, this particular model, if I'm correct, is indestructible. So if you were to throw it from a great height, it would probably be fine. Hit it with a dwarven hammer, I'm sure it would survive. But the kind of scratches you get on the outside over time, you do start to lose a little bit in its recharge function. Meaning that you really should upgrade to the next model, if I'm being completely and bluntly honest with you.
I'll consider it. I'm stuck in my ways. You see, I've had this for 42 years, I believe. And it serves me well, and I don't do anything fancy with any of those apps or anything like that. I mostly just use it to check in on my friends.
Well, I would say, in case you're interested, we do have 20% off on. It like points to a range of like kind of older model style, like not your 42-year-old version model, but just like the previous generation. It's like these ones here. If you're going for a long walk in the countryside, this sort of model here will tell you how many steps you've taken. It's really good for that cardiovascular health and things, to know like how far you've gone in a day.
Why would you need a stone to tell you that? Do you not count your steps while you're walking? I'm on 3,072 so far, and I step towards him to them as I say it. 3,073. I won't take up any more of your time. You seem very nice, and you do know a lot, and I'm learning things. But I'm fine with this one. I'm gonna go see what's happening over there.
Just like this, like looks very, very like just forlorn. Like this salesperson has not sold a thing today, and like they run on commission. So just kind of turns back sadly towards the rest of the store, and just like kind of.
Do I notice them looking forlorn as I leave?
With the 23 passive, yeah, you probably would, yeah.
I turn back, and I give them a not garish amount of money, and say, when you get chance, go check out the thing on a stick stall.
Oh, that's it's very kind. Yeah. What thing in a stick would you recommend?
Well, I had the mahogany, and that was very nice. A little bit chewy, but in an interesting way. My friend had everything else, so it seems they've got a good selection.
Okay, mahogany. Sounds expensive, but I'll give it a go. He turns back. He goes back to his job of serving no one in the gift shop. Meanwhile, everyone who's outside, you've been able to see that folks are heading into the theatre at this point. There's a sign for a number of different productions that they do have on today. If anyone wants to go, they're not you don't have to. There is a huge number of things that are being shown. If it's something you want to have a look at, or you can move on at this point.
So when you say there's so what do you say? There's a huge number of things on at the theatre, or like?
Yeah, there's a huge number of potential productions, and it's on demand. So they're just ready to go.
Live.
Yeah.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That feels kind of mean, but
Badger does not want to go there.
You don't want to go. You're just gonna hang outside. Okay.
Well, theater on-demand performance doesn't sit right with them.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Too many memories.
I can give you a rundown of what's on show, if it would help. Right.
yes. I mean, perhaps even if I don't want to go personally, Shiva does like a good production.
There's a whole bunch of different things on. You can go to see Julius Squeezer, which is the tale of an orc who squeezes fruit. It's normally only shown in March, but they have it on just now. He steals steals the money of his customers as they writhe in headache pain from freezing the frozen fruit slurry that he feeds them. Lord of the Ringing Down the Curtain. There's no beginning, no middle, but 173 endings. A streetcar named Murder Hobo, where 20 dwarfs just kill each other. Taming of the Shrew, which is just it's not that great. Like, having wild shrews on stage is less exciting than it sounds.
Oh, Shiva would love that one. That's
Exit Pursued by an Owlbear, which is just Shakespeare. And Hamilton, which is a one show. Like a one pig show. A tiny pig by the name of Henrik Steedcastle performs the entirety of the founding of Tezzerath in the form of cheesy rap.
I really want to see that one just so that you have to do it.
I'm not sure we should make Sam rap.
I think we'll lose all our viewers. But the chat asks if any of these are cabarets, Sam?
So there is one that's a little bit. It's called Wrench, where 6 young bohemian elves sing about their plumbing problems, but never actually do anything about it.
I think what we should do is we should let our patrons decide whether we make Sam compose an entire rap musical.
The last one is Spider-Man Turn on the Dark, where the lights go out and thousands of spiders are all released into the audience.
Well, I'm going to purchase a ticket for Shiva. She does love watching shrews.
I quite like the idea of the taming of the shrews.
Okay. You know what? Badger, are you staying outside?
I'm staying outside. It seems a bit cruel to the shrews.
Oh, they have a great time. It's just not very exciting.
What I'm gonna do is, because I don't want to go in, but I think Sparrow would enjoy watching lots of shrews wandering around. So while everyone else goes in, I'm going to summon Beast. And I'm gonna make the Beast look like a shrew. And just watch as Sparrow plays with the Beast.
I mean, I could have just taken Sparrow in so you didn't have to go.
Sparrow likes to stay with me.
That's fine.
So Sparrow is just playing with this little beast. Is it an unpleasant thing? Like,
No, it's a spirit beast, so it's not a real thing.
Is it a
And the
violent
only thing
thing?
it does is take the dodge action, so this is actually perfect.
Fair enough. Okay, well, everyone else heads on in to see the taming of the shrew, and like, you stay outside with Sparrow playing with this little spirit shrew, and wandering up to you, you see this towering blue dragonborn woman, wearing kind of glittering chainmail and intricate like helm. She's got like a no nonsense visage to her. A kind of, you notice a kind of slight limp. She's walking up when, you do know that this is probably not particularly appropriate for the audience that we have here at the festival today.
How do you mean?
Well, it just it seems to be encouraging a level of violence that we don't really want to see within the grounds of the festival.
I'm gonna look at the sign for what was the one with the dwarves who just all kill each other?
That was Streetcar Named Murder Hobo.
Yeah, I'm just gonna point at that, and then like quirk my eyebrow at her.
Yes, but that is, this is a public space. People are not paying to be here. You to pay to be in watching. Admittedly, not in great taste, but people choose to watch that filth.
And my pets choose to play tag.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, it would be grand if it wasn't quite in. And you just see the salesperson in the gift shop is just looking at you like, what the fuck? It's like as no one's coming into the shop because you're just like there with this shrew, like and your Sparrow like running around. It's a bit off-putting for the shop.
Then I'll move away. I'll move away from the shop and get Sparrow and the beast to come with me. They keep chasing each other.
Appreciated it. Thank you very much. And just this warden walks off. Meanwhile, the rest of you you're in watching the taming of the shrew. It's really not exciting. It is just like one man who was like, I can fix him, and like trying to fix this shrew, and just wandering about the stage, not listening to anyone.
You said it was much more wholesome in your previous description.
Well, it is wholesome. Like there's trying to make the shrew's life a little bit better, and like yeah, it's not that exciting. It's just shrew and a man on a stage.
I think it's a production that played well a few hundred years ago, but now it's a little bit dated.
Yeah, like the language and the ideas are not quite coming across. It's like people seem to put more emphasis on this than we feel it really deserves in Tezzerath these days. Yeah, so you're watching along, and Lucky, you feel like at the back of your head that you're hit with something, like from behind.
I turn around.
There's only 3 other people in here. No one's really watching. There's just like 3 teenage boys. There's like a halfling teenage boy and his 2 Goliath friends.
Do any of them look? Do they have that look on their face that you get when you're a teen who's done something you haven't, and then the adult almost catches you where you're kind of trying not to laugh?
Yeah, they're all looking on that kind of verge of laughter at this point.
Nice one, lads. Nice one, lads. But you don't want to distract the shrews.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course, yeah. Yes.
You turn back around, and then Rat, you feel you get hit in the back of the head.
I turn around and snarl at the teenage boys.
We made an intimidation check.
14 plus 6, 20.
Yeah, with that, they're like the halfling is gonna like continue to try to look really intimidating, just stare straight back at you. The two Goliaths, like their faces don't hold, and they'll like start nudging the halfling, going like, we can't look, we can't do this. And he's still just staring you straight down.
I'm staring right back.
He makes a face at you.
I snarl again.
And he just throws a bit of popcorn directly at your face.
I get
I'd
up.
block it with a mage hand.
What was that?
I said I'd block it with a mage hand and then flick it back.
So this bit of popcorn just stops in midair and then flies back and like flicks him right in the middle of the forehead. And he looks so angry at this point. He's like, "How do you know who I am?"
Do we?
I mean,
Do you say that out loud?
No, that was me asking. Like, do we know? Is this like a famous halfling child? Is it like an influencer?
okay.
It's probably an influencer's child thing festival.
I purposefully name a famously lame halfling, not in that sense, but like a famously unpopular
Pathetic.
halfling.
The Justin Bieber of halflings.
Yeah.
And looks at you. He's like, how dare you? Do you know who my dad is?
I named the dad of the famous Justin Bieber.
And this is like this is the three chupacabras they call themselves. This is a little halfling called Hun Lee, like Hun Lee, and his two half siblings who are both half Goliaths, half halfling. I don't think you want to be messing with us.
I have literally not the faintest clue who you are.
We're the three chupacabras.
Oh,
The what?
The three chupacabras.
Oh no, that was no, not a clue.
And the halfling just turns to his like Goliath, half Goliath brother and goes, Did you put up the posters? And like the Goliath, no, I forgot about that. It's a fucking idiot. And then they just like head out, and Taming of the Shrew comes to an end.
Goodbye, halfling Justin Bieber.
Name suggestion from a chat: Jim Baggins, which
Jim
I do like. Jim Baggins.
So you head back out into the square, and it's probably about time for you to head back to the organizer's tent at this point. And as you head back out into the outside from the theatre, you notice that the air's gone quite still. There's a general lack of excitement, as though all of the joy has been sucked out of the world, and it feels strangely cold, as though the temperature has begun to dip very suddenly. And you're slowly approaching the point where the dragon had been entertaining the crowds, and there seems to be a crowd gathered, but not an excited one. It's very quiet. No one's really saying much.
What's going on? And the crowd's too big. I can't see over them.
Honestly, I can't either. But
I think we're all fairly short. Like in this.
Yeah. Can somebody pick me up?
Badger, could you just make yourself tall temporarily? Can you do that? I don't understand how you work.
No. No. I can't. I just start sort of pushing my way through the crowd slightly.
Meanwhile, I
features are
lift.
shifting back into the more bestial form.
You make your start to make your way through the crowd, and you can see that the dragon is unresponsive and laid on the ground. Her minders, a tall tabaxi guard and a small man, are huddled around her head, trying to bring her to. And you can also see that the flame at the end of her tail is extinguished. And that is where we're going to go for a break.
Intriguing.
And we'll be back in 10 minutes. It is 40 minutes past, so we'll be back at 50 minutes past. See you soon, folks. Very good. And welcome back. Last we left off, our group had headed back into the middle of the main square, where one of the 4 revered dragons of Tezerath, who had been happily and gleefully playing with kids and Goliath dads, setting off fireworks, roasting marshmallows, and being a general delight for everyone enjoying the festival, appeared to be unresponsive in the middle of the square, with a crowd gathered round, and the seemingly important flame at the end of her tail extinguished. Yes, it's sad, Charmander.
You're fired.
That's the first time tonight. I'm pretty pleased with that.
Yeah. I did tell the chat that I would fire you if you did a sad Charmander moment.
Well, I'm
it
glad.
happened.
So I think it was Badger. You had made your way through the crowd. Was anyone else at this point trying to make their way through?
Yes.
I was assuming that I was going to like weave behind in Badger's wake.
Cool. I'll head on through. So you can see that the dragon is really like doesn't look great. Is like unconscious as far as you can tell, and the Tabaxi guard and the small dragon brand ambassador is also there as well, like a smaller human. They're at the front of the head, just kind of like trying to bring them to. It's like, please, Mr. Flore, please wake up.
Could I make a medicine check?
I was going to say the same thing.
I currently have advantage on those because I'm shifted.
Yeah, you go for it. Oh, Calum in the chat. You need to relight their fire because it needs your love.
Natural 19. That's going to be a 23 medicine. I'm going to crouch down, not by the head, but like near the tail, probably. Have a look all over.
So, you can tell that the creature is still alive.
Yeah.
But barely. There doesn't seem to be any apparent signs of any natural illness that you can see, other than unresponsive and a lack of flame tail.
Could I suggest we send Sparrow to sort of hug onto the tail tip and perhaps bring a bit of fire back to it that way?
Sure, Sparrow will do that. Cool suggestion.
This is, I guess, kind of like some sort of defibrillation for a dragon.
Defib via Fey Pine Marten.
So how is Sparrow going to do this? Is it going to just be?
Well, let me look up Sparrow's stats very quickly to see what exactly Sparrow is capable of. Sparrow is going to. Sparrow's always wreathed in a little bit of flame, but at this point, just sort of like puffs up more, as if like a fresh breath of air has just ignited the fire a little bit more, letting a bit more of that energy out. And it's just gonna very quiet, like very carefully, very slowly, sort of nuzzle against the tail, and will produce a flame seed near where the dragon's tail would have been on fire, to try to relight it with that flame seed.
How does the flame seed manifest? What does that look like?
So it looks it looks like a pine marten dropping, but it's on fire.
Any science facts around pine marten poo?
No, I meant to look some up. Whatever it was.
I'm sure that flame seed will come into play at some point in the future.
I'll have them for next week, I promise.
Sparrow, the Fey Pine Marten, shits on the dragon. Everyone around is very confused as to why there's no scat on this revered dragon. But it's kind of flaming
away.
Fire.
It's flaming scat.
A flaming scat.
Oh, we've got some facts in the chat there.
Ooh, Pine Marten poo is long, thin, coiled, and tapered in shape. and full of fur, bone, feathers, pieces of leaves, and grass. When defecating, martens wriggle their hips, resulting in a twisted poo. Can Sparrow do a performance check?
Coil the poo round the
I
ship.
don't think Sparrow has a performance. Hold on, what kind of charisma? Okay, that's a +0. That's a 3.
They've got stage fright.
Technically, this would be a ranged weapon attack, but it still rolled a 3. But yes.
The stage fright. There's a big crowd of people, but like managed to squeeze one out. Who's on this dragon's tail? The flame catches ever so, and starts to crackle, and then slowly just dulls again.
I also cast a healing spirit above just any part of the dragon. I think it takes the form of like a little flock of snow buntings that kind of whirl around.
Well, that's very cute. What does that do?
So let's just pick a level though. Let's cast it at 4th level because this is so it's a concentration spell. It lasts up to a minute. Whenever you or a creature you instantly moves into spirit space the first time or the turn starts there, you can give them 1d6 hit points. Basically for a minute every round.
Okay. So you cast this healing spirit, and we watch as there are these snow buntings that start to coil around this large emerald green dragon, and you watch as the tail flame starts to burn ever so brightly again, and you can hear that the tabaxi at the front, who's the guard for this dragon, this is Winter Moon, says, please Flurry, these lands call for you. You can't leave us. And the tail flame is ever so slightly brighter, but it's not really. It's like the kind of dying embers of a fire is not coming back hugely at this point.
Can I detect poison and disease on Flore?
Yeah, of course.
How do magic? It's been a while.
How does that one work?
So it's a first level spell. For the duration of the spell, you sense the presence and location of poisons, poisonous creatures, and diseases. Within 30 feet, you can identify the kind of poison, poisonous creature, or disease.
Okay. So you detect a couple of things. Pyleus Stape, the little myconid, is behind. You detect that he's there. Just generally a little poisonous mushroom man. There's a just a regular Goliath that's got a really bad cold. The
Fucking Goliaths.
But you can't detect any poison or disease in the dragon.
Okay.
Rat, is there anything that you would like to do?
Can I try a healing word spell?
Of course you can. Try drowning, says Caleb in the chat. Try
What?
Dehydrate. This is the same Caleb who plays in my home game, and last week when confronted by a doppelganger that was begging to be freed from a patron, was like, so would you like us to murder you? Would that help?
I rolled a 1+1.
Every little helps.
2 points back. So this dragon's now back to around. Was it 6 and then 2? So about 9 hit points.
Okay.
Still not a lot happening.
Can I also cast Goodberry? Which the healing of it is negligible, but it does provide enough nourishment to sustain a creature for a day.
Yeah, of course you can. Again, dragon.
Get
Dragon's not
Goodberries.
responding. What did you have to do with Goodberry? What exactly?
Just if it just eats them.
Well, okay. So you hand it over to the other creature there, which is Grindlethorpe Thistlespine, the little gnome that is with the dragon.
Oops, Sam's frozen again.
No DM, quick, someone resurrect the dragon. I honestly, part of me's going, maybe we should let the dragon die because I have Revivify prepped.
Yeah, but does that just bring us back to where we were?
Maybe. It's worth a shot.
Sam's just said his laptop died.
Yes.
Oh
So
no. Okay.
we have to keep talking.
Yeah. So
So I've just done a little investigating, and there's no diseases going on here.
I couldn't find anything either.
And these berries will hopefully.
We have no control over what's happening with our
Should
stream
we
settings right now,
move-
guys. So apologies for the layover that has
Should we
appeared
put
over
our
faces.
faces in the right place so that we fit?
And just stay like this until Sam gets back.
So
Like
these
you decided
berries-
to go right between them, the two, Hannah.
What? Oh, crap! I've mirrored myself, so there. Okay, is that better?
Yes, that's
Okay,
great.
so if I put them right between them, then yeah.
Yep. No,
That's
I think
exactly
now
the
we're
sort
all
of thinking
Yep.
I'm trying to do at 9 p.m. at night.
good. We're all struggling right now. See, Alex, this is what I was talking about. Why we need a new assistant, whose name is Gary. And when things like this happen, we just blame Gary.
Yeah.
Anyone has complaints about the stream? Blame Gary.
Is Gary real?
You don't know.
Gary works for the mattress company.
Yes.
Well, we did discuss whether
Which
his name.
mattress company?
Uh,
He had a particular
It's Gary
surname.
Gygax, asshole founder of Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry, Lucky, I interrupted your in-character chat with my nonsense.
So it feels like our spells aren't working,
Mm.
our detecting's not working. What's the next plan? Oh,
Oh, Lucky, what were the
Ooh,
things
Sam's
with threatened dragons? Hi, Sam. We blamed Gary.
Oh yeah, Gary's a prick. Thanks, Gary. There's always something about the first episode of our campaign. Something's going to go wrong, right? We had technical difficulties the last time.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about something that was going to happen, but the last thing you were doing was Goodberry. What have I missed? What were you doing?
We were discussing. Lucky was pointing out that our spells don't seem to be helping very much, and there doesn't seem to be any disease.
Yes.
I've...
and-
Oh, we've lost.
Oh no, we lost Lucky.
He'll
At
be
least-
back.
He'll be back.
So what were you doing then?
Oh, I was
So-
about to ask Lucky what the things that threatened dragons from his talk were, because I missed the talk.
harpoons. Just like
Axe fights.
Yes. fishing
Big
hook.
fish.
Yeah.
Ladies named whatever the fuck that lady you spoke to
Oh,
was, Rob.
I
It was
just had
Karen,
to
wasn't it?
temporarily refresh, and I came back to harpoons, big fish, and ladies. What?
That's our new podcast that we're
Welcome
launching.
to Science and Sorcery, Danny.
It's just big ladies fishing. Uh,
Would be
Sorry to the
sense
chat
of any
for that 5 minutes. Say that again, sorry, Hannah.
Would beast sense be worth trying?
What does Beast Sense do?
You touch a willing beast for the duration of the spell. You can use your action to see through the beast's eyes, hear what it hears, blah blah blah. Basically, perceive their senses.
Let's try it. If you want, if everyone else agrees.
Worth a shot.
Doesn't actually seem. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what am I doing here. Yeah, I don't think it's a rolly one.
No. If
Just
it's a willing
happens?
creature, it would just happen.
Okay, so if you walk up and you place your paw onto this creature, whereabouts are you standing? Are you standing at its head? Or are you standing at the side?
I'm
or-
gonna go for its like the side of its body.
Okay, so you place your paws on the side of this dragon's body and close your eyes, and you can start to begin to feel that you are looking through a different set of eyes. But you can't see anything. They're not dark. They're red. And they're growing redder. And redder. And redder. And everyone else. Well, first of all, Gulo, you notice before others that it's snowing. You realise that the warm kind of spring afternoon that you've been experiencing has changed to snow, which is beginning to fall heavily on the ground. But everyone else is too busy watching as blood begins to pour from the dragon's eyes and lands wetly on the ground. The blood begins to rise, and the two minders who are there in front rush towards their panicking as they see that Florina's blood's gushing from their eyes, and they're like, please, not now. Please don't leave us. And you watch as this blood that is forming fires at both of them. And some makes its way towards their nose and towards their ears. They writhe around for a moment. They begin to move unnaturally and scream as their bodies writhe and contort before becoming very still, standing positions in the square. The blood then removes itself and begins to form itself into two separate beings. The crowd begins to scream and scatter as all four of you are thrust forward. And I need you to please roll some initiative.
Oh my goodness.
And hopefully my laptop doesn't die again before we get
That's
through
my
this.
third natural 19 of the night.
A 19?
My third 19 that I've rolled. This is ridiculous. This is the new Midas gold dice that I got. That's a gift for all of the players from the last campaign. Because we spent 4 episodes lugging an insane amount of gold around, and that was a very big plot point.
Right, so you had
Alex pointing out that this is terrible news for the gift shop's PG-13 thing.
it is the warden.
You know what?
With the limp.
Maybe this is Badger's revenge. You don't know.
The warden with the limp is not enjoying it. Okay, what else do we have?
I rolled a 24 total, so I'm sorry.
10 total.
Okay, that makes me feel better with 8.
11?
Okay. An 8. Right. The two minders who had been standing there hoping for their dragon to please wake up, now their eyes snap open, and instead of the pupils of their eyes, you just see like blood red in front of them as they start to make their way towards you. And now I will bring our screen up and change what you can all see to what I can see. which is the middle of our square. As it loads, come on.
There we go.
So you can see your dragon in the middle of our screen here, as well as the 2 dragon blood oozes that have formed in the square, and our tabaxi and our young human who has also been drawn into this by the blood that took over them for whatever reason. Winter Moon, which is our character here, is immediately going to move over to this little girl who has been trapped in the space. This is Caroline, a polydart.
Before you continue, Sam, Hannah, could you zoom in on the map so that the viewers can see a bit clearer as well?
Amazing, thank you. This was the small little girl that Badger was next to at the mask making station. And Winter Moon is going to try to take an attack.
Sam, sorry, just pointing out, I rolled a 24 for my initiative total.
24?
Yeah, I rolled a 19 plus 5. Sorry, I didn't make that clear.
Sorry, I didn't get that. I will change it. So
That's
you're
okay.
first.
I just look at I look at the initiative tracker.
You're first then. Go for it.
Would I see that the Winter Moon would be like eyeing the girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first thing their eyes are drawn to, the first thing they can get to.
Where am I? Okay, I can only move 40 feet. If I move 40 feet, am I in melee distance with Winter Moon?
15, 20, 25. Not quite. You would be about 10 feet away.
That's very annoying. Okay, then I will rush up to select. There we go. I will rush up to here, which would be as far as I could go. And I'll unhook the sickle that hangs from my belt, and hold my action until something is within range. So if anything comes up this way, I'm gonna slash at it.
Cool. Makes sense. All right. So that then brings us round to Winter Moon, who is at this point going to make their way towards where you were. Not at this point aiming at the little girl, but aiming at you, seeing you as the more aggressive member of this group.
All right. So I get to make my attack.
Yep.
That is another natural 19 for a total of 30 to hit.
Yes, that does indeed hit.
And that will be 9 points of magical slashing damage.
9 points.
Yep.
Okay.
9.
Perfect. And with that, that was your action, so that brings us round to Winter Moon, who is going to take 2 attacks with her lance against you, which is going to be an 18 to hit.
Yep.
And that is going to be one of these. That is going to be 9 points of piercing damage.
18 doesn't hit.
Oh, it doesn't hit. Sorry, I thought you said it did.
No,
Sorry.
it doesn't.
Sorry, I misheard. Okay, so second attack. And that misses as well. That's a 17. Okay.
Dodging out of the way.
Okay. That is all that they are going to do on their turn, which now brings us over to Gulo. You're next.
Okay, so I'm just checking. So I am just going to cast a 5th level freezing ray at I think the ooze nearest Badger.
Yep.
So that is, let's see, so that will, when you cast this, sorry, wrong slot. I am, for the record, everyone playing a a snowstorm druid, which is a sort of reskinning of the wildfire druid. So just lots of ice themed stuff. Right, so you make a ranged spell attack for each ray, of which there will be 3. When you cast a spell using a third or higher, you create 1 additional ray for each slot. So it'll be 5 rays. Okay, so I'm going to assume that. Let's check what my spell modifier even is. So I'm going to assume that a 25 hits.
Yes.
Does a 22 hit?
Yes.
Does an 18 hit?
Yes.
Does a 14 hit?
No.
Okay, so 3 hit. So that will be 6d6 in the cold damage department, I believe. Let's just check that is the case. 2d6. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that was a pants set of rolls. So 3, 6, 12. 12 plus 5 is 17 points of cold damage.
Okay. Perfect.
And I'm going to move kind of in between. Like, so I'm sort of further. Can I see on this?
You should be able to move yourself, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to move to like there.
Okay.
To provide a bit of buffering.
No, that's fine. Anything else you're doing?
No, that's my turn.
Okay, Hannah, that brings us to Rat.
Okay, just because my brain does not work after 9 p.m. Like, who are the antagonists?
So we have the 2 minders for the dragon who have had something infect them. So they are not acting as their usual selves, and then there are 2 large oozes created from the dragon's blood, which are the larger of the 2 icons on the screen next to the dragon.
Can I go? So, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Can I try casting Erupting Earth at the oozes? Or is that going to be like too chaotic? No, we like chaos.
Yes,
You like
yes,
chaos.
yes. We want chaos.
I also like calling them oozers.
Yes.
Good word.
Ooze.
Okay.
Okay, how does
20
that work?
It's
20-foot cube, I think.
It's 3d12s.
Is it just like automatically underneath them?
Sorry?
I think you'd get to choose where it's centered.
Yeah, I can choose where it's centered within 120 feet.
Cool, you're fine. So do you want to choose it like to aim it underneath the one that is more on its own, or the one on the right hand side that also has the minder next to it?
Let's go with the one near the minder.
And it's how much of a like diameter? Or you said 20?
20-foot diameter.
20-foot cube.
Yeah, 20-foot cube.
So, okay. Right, where are you putting it so that it's only within range of that ooze, or so that it's within range of the
What's
ooze
the
and
scale on
minder?
this map?
So each of the little squares is 5 foot.
Okay.
It's confusing me slightly because our
Um,
characters are so large.
That is the only way to make
We'll
you see them.
go.
No, that's absolutely fair, Sam.
We'll center it under the ooze.
We're just giants. We forgot to mention that.
Okay, so we'll get it so that it's going to hit both of them, or just the one? What would you want?
What do people think?
I think you should try to hit both.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's try and hit both. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to five. Right, yeah, 4 squares is 20 foot.
Yes.
Let's try and hit both.
Okay. And do they need to roll anything, or is it just you cast it and they get hit? Back more if you're looking at it.
I am also looking at it. Go ahead.
They take 15 damage, so it's 3d12.
It's but they get to make a dexterity saving
Okay.
throw as well. Yes.
A dex save. Okay. It's
don't
an
know what
ooze.
your-
It doesn't have much dexterity, but it gets 16. So is that? Does that take half? Is
Hannah,
that?
does that save? What's your
I'm having
spell
a-
save
have a
DC? On the Your spell list, it says it at the top.
At the top.
I can get up there.
13.
Okay, so it,
Yes.
it takes half damage, and then the other little one is going to do the same, and is going to get 12. So I assume it's going to hit. Full amount. So that's going to take 15 points, which I can see that you've got. So this little person who is, for all intents and purposes, possessed is going to take 15 points of damage, and the other one's going to take half of that. So that's going to be 7.
Sam, the ground in that area becomes difficult terrain
I will add it.
until it's cleared. Yeah.
Anything else you would like to do, Hannah?
Not at this point.
Okay, no worries. So 20 feet of difficult terrain. It's not going to let me make it much bigger right now, so that will do, but we'll understand it. That's fine. That now brings us round to the Dragon Blood Ooze that is in front of Gulo. And that ooze is going to start to shamble forward towards our dwarf. Move within range of you, and is going to take. Yeah, it's going to do it. It's going to use its slime breath attack, which is going to expel a spray of gelatinous mass in a 30-foot cone towards you. So I would need you to make me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Okay. Let's use the dice that's been nice to me. It's not nice to me. That'll be a 3.
Okay, so you save. So you're going to take 4d10 acid damage. Which is
4d10.
Yes.
Ouch.
That is going to be. Do your math, Sam. 17 points of acid damage.
17 points
Math on the show.
of acid damage. Okie dokie. Do I need to make a concentration check then?
Yes, if you've got some still up.
How do I do? I can never remember how to do them. Wisdom.
Yes, let's see.
Let's see. So, is it wisdom save or wisdom check? This is the one rule I can never remember.
For a concentration spell, it'd be like a save, right?
Concentration spell. It's a saving throw. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
And it's
16.
10 or half the damage, whichever is higher.
Yeah, so that's fine.
I missed how much damage it was.
17. So half of 17 is less than 16.
Okay.
So, oh yeah, does that mean also on the turn I pump a little bit more healing into dragon friend?
I guess so. Yes. How much?
4.
Okay, it's back into double figures at this point. Right, that brings us to Lucky.
Lucky, slower than ooze.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt at it.
Okay.
So I can do that from where I am. Oh, that's not great. That was for 12.
Right, does that hit? It does not.
No, did not think so. I think otherwise I'm quite comfortable being this far away from the ooze, so I'm just going to chill with Rat.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that brings us round to Grindlethorpe Thistlefine. This little creature here. He's laughing at the names. What are they going to do?
Laughing at their names before we kill them because they're possessed by blood.
They are going to make a Thunderbolt attack, which is they can do twice. So they're going to do this once against Rat and once against Lucky, who they watched as a guiding bolt was flung towards the ooze. So they can do that from range. That is going to be D20. Is that D20? So the first one against Lucky is going to be a 16 to hit.
This is when we need the overlay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day.
We'll get it working Monday.
Oh, I think, Danny, you might be muted.
Yeah, sorry. I was saying, what section do I find my AC in?
Your
Oh,
AC
I found
is
it,
on the
yeah, sorry.
top of the
There
card.
was the Facebook Messenger icon was over the top of it. That was my fault. So sorry. What was it hitting for, Sam?
16.
I'm a 19, so it does not hit.
It does not hit. It's amazing.
19, please.
And Hannah, it's going to do the same against you. Does a 17 hit you? Or you're... I can't hear you now.
Is that against the armor class?
Yes.
I'm a 15.
So it does hit.
Oh.
So you are going to take... you're going to take 6 points of thunder damage. So yeah, 6 points against you. And that brings us round to the other ooze, which is quite far away from everyone. Which is this one. Can it do much from far away? It can't really. So it's just going to start to shamble on forward.
It's in difficult terrain.
Yeah.
It is. So
Good shout with that spell, Hannah.
the ooze can climb difficult surfaces without needing to make an ability check. Does that have an impact on its movement? Then it doesn't.
Oh, that
I would-
would be DM ruling, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not. So it can move.
It's normal speed.
Yeah, it's gonna move to about
Damn it.
here. No, that's move there, please. It's not gonna move. Why is it not moving? Please move.
you
Now
want-
you'll move. There we go. Okay, that's all it's gonna do. That's gonna bring us back to the top of the round. Badger, you're up next.
Okay, I'm gonna make another strike with my sickle at Winter. Is that their name?
Yeah,
Yep.
Winter Moon, yeah.
All right, Winter Moon. That is only a 15 to hit.
Which does not hit.
No, that's annoying. But I am then gonna spend a key point to make a flurry of blows and do 2 unarmed strikes as well.
Okay.
Which is another 15 to hit. And a 20. No,
Which does,
18.
which does not.
18 doesn't hit. Damn it. Okay. And that is action, bonus action. And I'm gonna look at the little girl and just tell her to run. If she gets the chance. Because she's still there for some reason.
Yeah, she's been standing in fright, but now that she sees someone that she recognizes from earlier, she is just going to zoom off and disappear into the crowd at that point.
Smart.
He is gone. She just nobody had told her. So that brings us around to Winter Moon, who is going to take another attack against you, Badger. So that is going to be another of our lance attacks, which is going to be 16, which won't hit.
Nope.
And an 8, which doesn't hit.
Dodge again.
So 2 dodges. That brings us to Gulo.
Okay, so Gulo is going to sort of rotate around to there, just around the outside of the thing. So I'm not leaving melee with it, but hopefully I should now be in range of my own healing spirit.
Okay.
So I get a d6 of healing there, which was a nice 6 to start with.
Perfect. Your dice are rolling really well tonight, Alex.
Yeah, for once. And then it's like, well, you can see menace. I think it's time we end this, and I'm going to cast a level 5 blight on it.
Oh!
So I need a con save from it, please.
Con save. Not bad at con, that's okay. That's a dirty 20.
Well, so it'll be half damage, but this is 9d8 anyway, so...
Oh, Jesus.
Please tell me you're rolling this virtually.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Although it's kind of jammed itself in D&D Beyond, so it's just... There we go.
Meh.
So 43 damage, so it's halved.
21?
Yeah, 21.
Good for the ooze that was halved.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that was it. Can I just send Shiver just off to do a bit of crowd control and just push people away from the fight as much as possible?
Yep. So your little Arctic fox just kind of runs up to the edge of the crowd and just like puts their front paws up, and, like holding people back.
And everyone's going, "Oh, no!"
Yeah, they're very conflicted about how their response should be in this particular moment. Okay, that's you.
Mhm.
You're good. That's you done.
Yep.
Perfect. Hannah, it brings us to Rack.
Can I get closer to the action?
Yeah, like you can move yourself forward. Yeah.
Okay. Does that count as an action?
No, your movement is
Okay.
its own thing. So
Okay.
you have a movement speed on your character sheet. So above your armor class, there'll be a movement.
45 feet.
So you can move pretty far.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're fine.
You
where
just
you've got
moved 45, yeah.
And then can I... Sorry, I'll stop switching back between windows. Can I use Form of the Beast's tail attack on the ooze?
Yes, you
any
can. Yeah.
Okay.
So what does that look like when it comes to you? Because that's like a change of what your regular tail would look like. So what happens to this honey badger's tail for Form of the Beast?
So at this point, my tail turns into like a bladed weapon that's basically attached to me, and I sweep it through the ooze, which sounds horrible. So yeah, it's lashing and spiny and has lots and lots of blades on it.
Oh, so you're raging now as well, right? Because that, I think, gives you bonus damage.
I might as well rage as well.
Yeah, I think that is part of your rage.
Yeah.
Like, bonus action to take that form.
Okay.
Okay.
So
And you
shall I
take an
roll
attack?
that?
Yep.
Oh, for fuck's sake. 3 + 4, 7.
You first have to roll to hit the creature.
Oh, okay. Wait.
Yeah, that's your damage.
Sorry.
I think you just rolled your damage, so you need to roll.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. It was a 2.
Oh no.
Plus
Plus 8,
for
10.
Which unfortunately doesn't hit. But was a very cool piece of like use of what you can do with that Form of the Beast. So I'm looking forward to that blade coming back in the future, and seeing what else can happen with, like, because you should also have your jaws can do stuff and your claws can do stuff. But that's your bonus action, your movement, and your action. So that is going to bring us round to the Dragon Blood Ooze, which the one that has taken the most damage so far is going to turn round towards Gulo, having watched the blight that has just happened at it, and it's going to take 2 pseudopod attacks. So you're going to watch as 2 kind of oozy arms come out from this like large shambling ooze, which is going to swing at you. My d20s, there they are. So the first one is going to be 19.
That hits.
So that is going to be this is like, these pseudopods are not nice. Sorry, Alex. That is going to be 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Plus 12 points of acid damage.
Ouch, but fine.
Cool. It's going to try that again because it gets 2 attacks, which is going to be That's going to be a 22 to hit.
Just about.
So that is going to be another 11 points of bludgeoning. And then 15 points of acid damage. And that is its turn. That is as much as it's going to do. As happy as an ooze could be, it's happy about what it just did.
I'm glad I built a high con druid. That's
We now fly back towards the back of the battlefield towards Lucky.
Hello. I'm going to come a little bit closer because I'm feeling a little bit left out. You know, not very far because I
you
only
can
have.
take some of this if you want. I'm quite.
Well, it's not that. I just, you know, and I am going to try and cast Guiding Bolt again and hope that while it has no mechanical difference, being closer might mean I hit. Ooh, not great. Actually, I remembered something in the middle.
Please also remember you have your inspirations that you can use.
I did remember that, but I also remembered I am lucky, as in not my name. I have the trait lucky.
Ooh.
Oh, never mind. I didn't roll a 1. I thought it was just when you roll very badly. Never mind. But that's good to know for future.
No, that's
so please
the
remind me.
luck feat. Where you can
Yeah.
choose to re-roll, yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was just bad, but it's just a 1 specific. But yeah. Anyway, so I will pretend that I was inspired and roll a second dice. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
That's better. 21.
That does indeed hit.
Nice.
Who are you aiming at this at?
Oh, sorry.
It hits anyone that you aimed at, but yeah, you didn't realise and we didn't say.
Yes, sorry. The one near Rat.
Okay,
the
the ooze near Rat, yep.
I just need to get back to the spell menu. So 5d6.
High rolls, high rolls.
Not terrible. 16.
16. Okay, amazing. Thank you very much. Anything else you're doing?
No, I'm good.
That brings us on to Grindlethorpe, who's going to watch that guiding bolt. Is going to take another aim at you as you're further away from the action, but it's also going to take aim at Rat again as well. So that is going to be 13 to hit Lucky, which I imagine misses.
Does not hit.
Perfect. And Rat, that's going to be that's going to be a 13 to hit you as well, which I imagine misses. Not doing so well. Okay. That is as much as this little dragon ambassador is going to do. Brings it around to the other ooze that is just got.
Quick point of order. I just remembered I hadn't made concentration checks, which I remembered is Constitution, and I just made them all, and I succeeded all of them.
Amazing. Thank you for following up on that. That brings it around to the other ooze, which is going to take pseudopod attacks against Rat in front, which is going to be 21 to hit, Hannah. That hits.
Yep.
So that is going to be 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
You have resistance to bludgeoning while you're raging, so you half the damage, Hannah.
Ah, thank you. So just 6.
Yeah. Bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing when you're raging. You have resistance. I love a barbarian. So useful.
Can you hear me okay? My mic decided to swap this up.
When you leaned down, we couldn't hear you, but when your head was up, we could.
Perfect. I think it was my mic decided to leave and not work properly. But
That's
that is going to be 11 points of acid damage for you, Hannah.
11.
11. And then it's going to take its second attack against you as well, which is going to be 12 to hit, which I'll imagine misses.
No, yeah, misses.
Perfect. Okay. That brings us back to the top of the round for Badger again.
I'm gonna make another sickle attack against Winter. For a 23 to hit.
That hits.
And I'd like to try to make this a stunning strike.
Okay.
So she gets to make a... Where is it? Constitution saving throw.
Constitution save. Okay. 13.
Nope, she is stunned until the end of my next turn.
Okay.
And she takes 7 points of slashing damage.
7. Okay.
And then I'm going to spend another key point to make another 2 unarmed attacks as I do another flurry of blows.
Perfect.
Which is a 22 to hit and a 25.
Amazing.
So she'll take another 15 points of bludgeoning damage in total. As I just slam my hand into the side of her face and bring one leg up and kick her in the abdomen at the same time.
This very quiet Badger just beating the shit out of a tall cat.
While
woman.
holding a massive, slightly glowing sickle in the other hand.
Anything else?
No, action, bonus action. Actually, no, I'm gonna move slightly. I'm gonna move around while she's stunned anyways, and just come into melee range with this big ooze as well, as it's been beating on Gullo, and I want to give it another target. If
Okay.
it cares for that.
That now would bring us to Winter Moon, but it's stunned.
Yep.
So we move over to Gullo.
Okay, so I'm going to take my 5 points of healing, which I will
Perfect.
need, probably. And then I'm like, oh, so you're going to play Spicy, are you then? And I'm going to cast a 4th level Blight on it.
Okay.
So, con save, please.
15.
That just makes it, so it'll be half of whatever I roll. Ooh, but that was a
still,
nice
like-
roll.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Nice.
So
So
that's
that was
15? No, sorry.
20,
20?
19, 20, depending on if you roll
19 or
round
20, depending on how you round. Yeah.
I'm going to round it up for you so it takes 20 damage. Remember that I roll it up, so that, I don't do it differently later. Because I may
Okey-dokey.
well mistake that. Anything else you did?
Do I have any bonus actions? I don't even. Sure, I'm just going to cast Shillelagh as well. Why not? I have a big sort of club / stick that I use for maneuvering, so that's just like glowing with pale energy now.
Amazing. And you're staying where you are?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
Hannah.
shall I roll Health of the Dragon as well, which is another 4.
Cool. It's slowly but surely picking up health. Hannah, back to you with Rat.
Can I start with a bonus action?
Yep.
Can I try a Daunting Roar?
Ooh.
Which is so creatures of my choice within 10 feet must do a wisdom saving throw or become frightened of you until the end of your next turn.
Yeah.
Okay. Within 10 feet, did you say?
Yep. So I think that's just the ooze.
The ooze is immune to being frightened,
Oh, for
unfortunately.
God's sake.
It's an ooze. It doesn't really have a brain.
Therefore, I thought it'd be more frightening.
Unfortunately, that's one of its immunities.
Okay. Right, never mind. We'll attack it instead then. I'm gonna go for the tail again.
Go for it. Yep.
Okay, so roll the hit thing first.
Yep.
9 + 8, 17.
That does indeed hit. Yep. So roll
Nice,
your
okay.
damage.
And then damage is a 5 + 4, 9.
Nice.
Plus 2 because you're raging.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah. Amazing.
Eventually, I'll remember that.
I played a barbarian in my home game and I never remembered that, so I will try to help you remember it.
So 11.
Okay, are you staying where you are? You're not gonna move or anything like that?
I think I'm going to stay where I am.
That's fine, probably for the best. That brings us to the ooze that is next to Gulo and Badger. And the ooze is going to turn to Badger at this point.
Happy
And
bro.
I'm going to try to... it needs to roll a d6 at this point. Is it going to get its slime breath back? No, it's not. And so it's going to take 2 of its pseudopoid attacks. It's still got these, like, hench arms out. And it's going to take 2 swipes at you with these kind of bloody arms.
Go for it.
Is it Alex Evans as a slime?
Yeah. That is a 26 to hit.
That does hit.
So that is going to be 7 points of bludgeoning
Yep.
plus. Oh no, they got stuck. 13 points of acid damage.
Okay.
And it's going to try it again, which is a 9.
Nope, 9 will not hit. My temp hit points for my shifting are gone.
Doing well. Lucky, we're back to you.
So, yes. As a bonus action, I'm going to create a spiritual weapon.
Nice.
Amazing.
Next to the handler that is near the green dot. It's kind of
Okay. Yep.
if
Yep. That
you
is
know.
Grindle. Something. Grindle top.
And then when you cast a spell, you can make a melee spell attack against a creature within 5 feet of the weapon. How do I do that? What am I rolling for a melee spell attack?
So you're just like it should be on it. It should just be like
I'll
a
drop that.
D20 plus the modifier. But before you do it, what does your spiritual weapon look like?
Oh, that's a good question. I think because I'm a simple halfling, it's just a really big stick.
Which I
Fence
imagine to everybody else is just a regular size stick.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So yeah, roll your attack.
Yes, I've realised. So it's plus 8. Oh, that's good. 26,
Yep, that hits.
and it's for 8.
8. Okay.
So that was my bonus action. And then I'm going to call me predictable. I'm gonna cast a guiding bolt
Okay.
at the
I can give you a lay of the land if you like.
Yes.
The ooze that is next to Gulo and Badger is not looking great.
Okay.
The
I
other
might,
ooze is a little bit better, but aye.
I might just give that one a little guiding bolt.
Yep, go for it.
23.
Yes, that does indeed hit.
And I'm hitting for less than first 15.
Yeah, do you want to tell me how you like fire this guiding bolt at this ooze?
I guess because I'm looking at the person where the stick is, I kind of just glance to my side and go, "Whoa!" and kind of do it a little bit as a reflex.
I love it. Yeah. So your reflex guiding bolt towards this ooze, and you watch as it crashes into it, and this ooze vanishes. It is gone. It is defeated. And as that happens, you watch as Winter Moon, this stunned tabaxi, her eyes start to flicker back to normal. And she's like, "What is going on?" And
I think
before
she's got a
anyone,
broken jaw.
yeah, she's just like broken ribs and a broken jaw,
And she's still stunned.
stunned on the ground. So that now brings us to her. Unless there's anything else you're doing, Lucky. I think that
No,
was you.
well, I just kind of noticing what has just happened. I just kind of mused to myself that, yes, definitely did that in the right order.
Yeah, Badger was not thinking about orders.
That brings us round to her colleague, Grindlethorpe, who is going to have watched this ooze disappear, and once again is going to take, this time, 2 guiding bolts at Lucky, who
What a
is
little
watched-
showdown.
Yeah. So that's going to be an 18 to hit, which doesn't hit, right? You got 19.
Yep, just misses.
And a natural 1. So yeah, it does not hit. You are fighting. I am rolling appallingly for these attacks. That brings us to the top of the round. Badger, you have got the stunned.
Does the other ooze not go?
Have we not already had it? Didn't it take its attack?
I think that ooze goes just before me.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's already
okay.
been tried to attack.
Oh, okay. So the one that's
Your
Dead.
ooze was the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So back to you.
All right. So if I'm up, if I can, I see that Winter's looking less possessed by blood ooze. I'm just gonna silently turn away from her, look to the other ooze, run over, and slash at it with my sickle.
Go for it.
Which is going to be a 28 to hit.
That does indeed hit.
For 11 points of magic slashing damage.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do another, spend another key point for another flurry of blows.
What type of was that? A specific type of magic damage?
Slashing.
Okay. That's
It's a magical weapon.
Okay,
In
yeah,
case
yeah,
it
yeah,
has
that's fine.
resistance to non-magic weapon slashing damage. I'll take my 2 unarmed strikes. Which one of those is a natural 3? I assume a
misses.
12 doesn't hit.
No,
The other one's a 24 to hit.
that does indeed hit.
Okay, and I would like to extract aspects from this creature as I just punch into the ooze. So it takes 9 points of bludgeoning damage,
Yep.
and I learn all of its damage resistances, damage vulnerabilities, damage immunities, and condition immunities.
And its deepest,
So-
darkest secret.
I grab some of the ooze out of it and just sort of sniff it.
It really wants to be a concert pianist. Never was good enough.
yeah, it really tried hard as a kid, but just like it couldn't really deal with the really mean piano teacher.
Right.
Condition immunities: blinded, charmed, deafened, exhaustion, frightened, grappled, prone, restrained. What else
Okay.
did you need to know?
Any damage resistances, vulnerabilities, and immunities.
It is resistant to lightning, poison, cold, fire, and acid. It's not vulnerable to anything.
And not immune to anything either.
No.
Cool. I will maybe ask you for this list again later. But
Yeah.
Cool.
You
That's
might
my
not
turn.
have to at this rate.
I just in case we encounter these things in the future, Sam.
Oh, that's
Badger
true.
will remember this shit.
That's true.
Yeah.
That would
But that's
bring
my
us
turn.
to Gulo, as Winter is gonna not participate anymore and stand at the side, just like this is not good.
You just like Goldberg walking off the. I've been just on a theme here. 4th level blight
Okay.
on the ooze.
Yep. What did you need for that? Was a coin?
Con save, please.
21.
So half damage.
That
Not
fourth
so
level
good as
blight,
last time.
though.
So that's still 17 damage. Right.
No.
No.
That's
Half
not how
that.
math works. 14.
But
If
14?
we're rounding up, 14.
14 was exactly what you needed. How would you like to do
Yes.
this?
I kind of imagine it's like, kind of like if you took a blowtorch to an ice cube. It's just like it just kind of melts from the point that I infected. Just like,
And it just
like
starts
hand out,
to... This horrible bloody ooze that has appeared from the eyes of this lovable dragon that everyone was enjoying the company of earlier on starts to fade away into nothingness and disappears from sight. And then you see, as Grindlethorpe, his eyes return back to normal as well. And he wakes up and says, what the fuck was that? Like, it's like, he looks over towards Lucky, he's like, I was throwing lightning at you. And
Don't turn around, because there's still a glowing stick, just hovering above his head.
And at this point, we are no longer in combat.
Excited.
Well done, folks. That was your first combat of the
also an
campaign.
extra 4 healing.
And right, everyone needs to move around again because we shifted out earlier. So let's get you back into the right places.
Mm-hmm. Badger's shifting has also ended again. Back to just normal Badger face.
The area of effect is gone as well.
No, it's still difficult terrain. It takes 5 minutes to clear 5 feet.
It's gonna stay there.
It's kind of ruined.
It's a fun spell.
The cleanup crew.
Winter Moon is going to slowly walk back over to the group, and also at this point, the Archdruid, the dwarf from the beginning, is going to head back over. Now that everything seems to have calmed down, the dragon is still incapacitated, but Veronica comes back over and goes, she likes to make a scene every year. This is a little bit different. What's going on?
The
To
fire.
say she's not well would be putting it mildly.
Her fire is extinguished or near extinguished.
Yeah, how's the tail fire looking?
Not great.
Before the combat started, did it seem to help when Badger's flaming scat was near it? Did that seem to help
Your
the
flaming
fire?
scat.
Sorry, sparrows. I was gonna say Badger's familiar, but not really a familiar.
So, it seems to light it briefly, but then it kind of burned out again.
Yep. In which case, I will cast a flaming sphere, which is a 5-foot diameter sphere, so it is very large. I'll tell other people to stand aside,
Okay.
just over where the tail is, and that will last for a minute, burning very brightly.
So you cast this, and
Yep.
you see as the tail, or the point at the end of the tail where the flame usually is, starts to glow.
Mm-hmm.
As the flame starts to catch, and it holds for a bit longer than it previously has at this point.
Yep.
And you notice as the dragon starts to rustle around ever so slightly and groggily opens its eyes and looks at Winter Moon, and Grindlethorpe was like, what's going on? And the Tabaxi replies going, Mistress, you seemed to fall into some form of deep slumber. Are you feeling okay? And the dragon kind of takes a moment to kind of gather her thoughts. I don't know what's happening. This has never happened before. Very confused. Doesn't really know what is going on completely. The Tabaxi doesn't seem much the wiser. The Archdruid is very concerned. Initially had been quite annoyed about the whole palaver, but is now just more concerned about what this means on a larger scale. What would you suggest, Mistress? Asking the dragon. I'm not 100% sure. And then I need to rest. And closes her eyes to head back to sleep. In this case, it's not a worrying eyes closed.
This is certainly a concerning set of developments here.
Should we send word to the other great dragons in case they're affected as well?
That would seem sensible.
The Archdruid kind of turns towards you. Before he starts talking, would someone like to make me a perception check?
I think it should be Lucky.
I think this is Lucky's territory.
Yeah.
27. That was off a 19.
Okay. You see two things. Towards the edge of the crowd, you see a tall, green lizard folk standing looking very smug.
Are they dressed like a Victorian hunter?
They are. They look as though they're ready for a trip into the bush on the hunt for their next big prize. Captain Osiris whispers to an aide beside him and then skulks off into the crowd.
Just like, I was really tempted to say I cast Blight, but
On the crowd, children dead.
I've got one key point left, guys. We could take him out right now.
I guess I can't justify that right now.
You also see your halfling eyes see Lady Corilla speaking hurriedly into Ascending Stone as she heads towards the town's exit. And just in the distance, you see she climbs into a cart and heads off. The Archdruid at this point, Brora, turns to the group and says, I think getting word to the others is a sensible option. But I feel we need to be discreet and avoid the Sending Stones because someone may be listening. And the last thing that we need across the nation is panic.
We could use Lucky's. It doesn't seem like it uses the same network as any of the
We could go tell them.
Can I entrust you all with this? And then the Grindlethorpe comes up and says, the mistress may have to stay here for a while. Can you send word to the Harvest? The Harvest is Flores' resting place, the place that they live, and is a kind of key site, a key place for worship, to bless the lands, to bless seeds into being. We would be very appreciative if you could head there first, but with haste to tell the others what's going on. Okay, says Brora. Certainly been an exciting festival. He's like, he turns to, I can't remember their name now. He turns to his little microed friend. He's like, feels like we might need that music after all. And like the mic just kind of bows deeply and heads off to get the family, and they burst into song to kind of move the crowds away to distract them from what is currently going on here. And it's time for you all to do the bit that I'm really excited for you to all explain, to make it a little bit quicker for you to get around Tezrath. The Draconic Oath are all given as part of when you get to a certain level within the Draconic Oath. It's a multi-level marketing scheme all of a sudden.
Are we triple black diamond level yet, Sam?
As soon as you get to a certain level within the Draconic Oath, once you spent enough time there, you get your very own dragon mount. And this is a chance for you to head towards the stables that they're being held in. And could we all, one by one, tell the lovely folks watching about your dragon mounts and who they are, starting first with Hannah and Rat.
My dragon is called Carla. She is black with hints of purple. She has her legs look a little bit like a giant Labrador's legs. She's got big curly horns, wings, and a tail that has a scorpion sting at the end of it.
Okay, and Gulo.
So my dragon is Gear. They're a white dragon. They have sort of long, sort of barbels almost that kind of give the sort of semblance of expressive whiskers around the face, and they're sort of quite long and lithe.
And Lucky.
My dragon is called Marum, and they're kind of like if a deer were crossed with a traditional kind of dragon. So you've got the kind of deer-like shape, but then a long tail, big antlers but scaly, and kind of leaf detailing in various places.
And finally, Badger.
Badger's dragon is called Fern, and is a very dainty dragon. Looks almost as if she's made of like the new leaves of spring, a very emerald color, similar to the big dragon which we've just left, with wings that look almost like maple leaves, and the scales look like little aspen leaves.
And the snow continues to fall around, which is strange because it's springtime. Why has the weather changed? As you ponder this, as you get ready to head off to the harvest, two things. First of all, Shimmer comes running up after crowd control, just to make sure that she's not left behind, and moves up with Gulo. And Brora comes up one last time just to say, like, out away from the crowd, this is a big opportunity for you four. Please make notes about what you've seen on the way. This is a real chance to work on what could be your very first paper.
Sam, next time I see you, I'm gonna slap you in the face. Academic trauma.
With good paper comes good funding. And with good funding comes security and comfort.
I mean, I've had enough festival trauma. It's time for you to have some publication trauma.
My entire previous character was based on publication trauma, Hannah.
And with that traumatic last sentence from the Arc Druid, these 4 dragons and their 4 druids, and a pine marten and an Arctic fox take off into the air, heading towards Florey's harvest. And that's where we'll leave tonight's session. Thank you so much. And yeah, looking forward to seeing where this is all going.
Oh, thank you, Sam. As much as I despise you in this moment, because I've been working on a fucking manuscript, and I had to look over the rejection email I got more than a year ago this week, which was terrible. And thank you very much to all of our viewers for joining us on the first episode of our third mini campaign, These Lands Call for You. We will be back next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. with episode 2 to see exactly what Ra, Lucky, Gulo, and Badger get up to with their mounts and the harvest. I'm sure Sam will throw some more weird things at us. This has been very enjoyable. We will also be here on, let me double check the dates. If my calendar loads, the 20th of January for our charity one-shot, which is going to be another one of our randomly generated character one-shots. This time we're going into one of the Candlekeep mysteries. So do keep your eye on our Twitter page where we will be announcing that shortly. And that's all the shows we have planned in the near future, right? I'm not missing anything?
No, that's it. Yep. Campaign, that, and then
So next Wednesday we'll be back here, and next week, Friday, we will be here as well at 7 p.m, and we'll start announcing guests for that very soon, I'm sure. In the meantime, Hannah, do you want to tell people where they can find you?
Yep, I'm at Hannah_Sci, SCI art, on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And you can also find me at hannahayub.co.uk.
Brilliant. Yeah. And Danny, how about you?
I'm on Twitter at Dan P. Stones.
Cool. Alex, you up to anything?
Nothing particularly new from last time, but as always,
Okay.
I am at Alex J. Holt. Give me money and I'll make you art.
Yes. I think so do Hannah and maybe Danny as well.
Yeah, I think
I don't
Daphne's
know.
the only person.
Yeah, I think I'm the old... Sam and I don't...
gave
You can
money.
give us money. You probably won't get art.
I think there should be a special tier where you specifically do the art.
If you want art from me or Sam, we'll make you something, but it won't be good. Unlike the other three in this company.
I mean, art's subjective, right? Like,
Yeah. Art is whatever you can get away with. In the words of Andy
I'll send you a lump
Warhol.
of clay. I'll just send you, and I'll tell you it's a pine marten turd.
So I sent you a necklace and I get a lump of clay back.
Sam, how about yourself? Where can people find you?
At Scottish Psycom, I don't really post much anymore, about anything that's other than just complaining. And otherwise, you'll find me here.
Yep. And you can find me at DJ Veduvan. Commission me for art, I guess.
You're an artist.
I don't
now.
have time to do that shit, but hey. You can find Science and Sorcery at Sci and Sorcery on Twitter and at Science and Sorcery on YouTube and TikTok, as well as right here on Twitch. We've got all of our previous campaigns up on YouTube. We've got all of our previous one-shots up on YouTube. The Lactose League finally went up today because I forgot it existed again. And that is it. Oh, we're also on Redbubble and on Patreon. And patrons, keep an eye out. I am very soon going to be asking all of you to help me design some NPCs for an upcoming campaign. So,
which you're then going to do the art for.
Yes. Yes, I definitely didn't find a 2-minute token editor, and I'm definitely not using that instead. Yeah, that is the end of our stream tonight. Thank you again, Sam, for DMing. Thank you, Hannah, Danny, Alex, and I guess myself for playing. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week. Good night, folks.